Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace. You gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience and the pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really nah, I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. About my chicken and its rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the ribbon, we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition, they ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing you. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Ooh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Ooh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more. Do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a fool fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her, and she gon' work that right. I'ma mess around and drown when she drop that down. No more phone me blowing up, I like not right now. Oh, I swear that she in next the way she work that mouth. Whoa, automatic cause she move, she be cousin static. I be straight up like an addict, might become an addict. Now I gotta have it, had enough with all the moves, yeah, move here. Ooh, let me grab it now, I'm on 1 year. Now I'm not done yet, told her wait right here. I'll be back 1 sec, this is just time out, this is not no way. Go and grab that friend, then you know what's next. Stay. You been rockin' with an all-star, baby, and I know you coming early like a false-star, baby. Packing out the seat, this ain't no hostile, baby, and they know me in the city like a mob star. Ooh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Ooh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more. Do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a fool fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her,
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, oh baby, she got that extra little dump to the downside, and we have come down to some key levels. If you guys saw that market update that I dropped earlier, you guys know we came into some very key levels of support where I did take a long position, a pretty risky kind of knife catch situation here. Looking for that long position as we deviated below our local value area that we were looking at on last night's live stream. And we have come down to some support. We've held the level. We've gotten back inside that value area. And right now, it looks like we're trying to get a pop back up to that POC. Can we make it? Can we flip that POC and potentially come back up to the value area high? We're going to cover all the scenarios that I'm personally looking at here on the charts with you guys on tonight's live stream. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for that super chat, Jesse. I appreciate you, bro. He says smash that like button, Mafia. Don't forget to smash that like button if you have not already. Every 100 likes we get gives you guys some extra chances to win some free Solana on Friday night's live stream. So smash that like button, guys. We're going for 1,000 likes. Let's see. Shout out to I'm My Hero says, why is he always pointing at me? I'm my hero. I am actually always pointing at you. It's never anybody else. It is you, I'm my hero. I'm pointing at you. I'm even in focus here now. But shout out to I'm My Hero. Welcome in. We got Still Working in the chat. And I saw somebody, Don't Mind Me, asking to see Ada. We will be taking a look at Ada tonight. And don't mind me. I just thought you didn't want me to mind you. That's why I think I saw you saying this in a previous live stream. You wanted to see Ada, but it said don't mind me. So I wasn't paying it any mind. Shout out to you, bro. I'm just kidding. We got K Diggity in the chat. Shout out to K Diggity. Phoebe says hi, bro. We got Bullish on Parade. Hopefully Bullish on Parade could push the price up here. Said Frankie, extra telling with all extra telling with all the hand gestures today. Love it. Shout out to Bullish on Parade, bro. Hopefully we can bull this thing right back to the upside. So shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here, supporting the bull side here and the bullish case. Let's see. We got Wayne C in the chat. We got Lucho here. Hey Lucho, there's no giveaway today. What are you doing here, bro? Shout out to Lucho. Welcome in. We got Jay Violet in the chat with her double wrenches. Shout out to Jay Violet. Welcome in. We got a double mod in the chat here, guys. Frankie Satoshi, shout out to Lars. Welcome in, man. We got Justin in the chat says, IoTX, please. And we will be taking a look at the altcoins, guys. Frankie, please, AVAX. I don't know why I said that. Shout out to Kaj. We will try to take a look at AVAX. But yeah, we're going to take a look at the altcoins, guys. We're going to check in on Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about the key levels we came down to. And what do you know, guys? We lost that key level of support. There were two specific ones we were looking at, both of them being POCs. And we've lost that range POC, expecting price to come down to that value area low. We deviated below that range. And then we saw a single bullish confirmation. Not really much confluence down there, but we saw that confirmation. I took that long, and now we're attempting to get back in that range. So without further ado, guys, shout out to the Mafia. Thank you guys for being here. Let's see. Yo, Ninzo says, Mr. Candles, when super cycle? I mean, hey, hopefully this cycle, right? But obviously, you know, these super cycle people come around every single crypto cycle, guys, and they've been wrong every time so far, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to be right eventually. But I'm going to talk about also some of the higher time frame bearish signals here, guys. You guys know, as we saw that rejection, well, we'll cover it when we jump on into the chart. So let's just go ahead and dive right in here, guys, and talk about Bitcoin and candles for 1 to 2 hours. Let's get into it. Let's see. Shout out to the Mafia. Shout out to David. Welcome in, David. Good to see you in here. Let's see. Shout out to Felix. What's going on, bro? Welcome in. Thank you all for being here. But, guys, let's take a look at what we got going on here on Bitcoin. Now, as you guys know, let me clean up the chart just a tiny bit here, hide that position. We're going to hide this local range. But as you guys know here, I'll hide the weeklies, I'll hide the dailies. As you guys know, over the past couple of days, we have been looking, last week on Friday, we were looking for price to push up to this $102,000 target. Now, this was a Fibonacci golden pocket retracement. We looked at this yesterday, so I will not cover it too aggressively tonight. But we were looking for that move up into our key level, which was that $102,000 golden pocket, where we knew there was a probability or a high probability of putting in a lower high in that area between the golden pocket and the 786. And we did wind up coming up, getting some bearish confirmations that we went over on the live stream yesterday, talking about, hey, the confirmations that we saw, we got that drop back to the downside, and we had some very key levels on the chart. But really what I want to start off with here, guys, is, I have seen a couple of people talking about $108,000 being the top for Bitcoin. Now, listen, guys, I am here to look at the charts and find the highest probability outcomes. And as a trader, you kind of have to lose your ego as a trader, right? Because the market, once your ego gets big enough, the market comes in and humbles you. And you really have to understand, especially as a trader, you have to look at the bullish case, the bearish case, find the confluences, find the confirmations, and then bet on the higher probability outcome. But there are a lot of people calling for 108K here. Now, although I don't necessarily fall in that camp just yet, we have not really had anything too crazy happen here. Now, obviously, we are looking at, we also talked about this potential head and shoulders that we're forming. Now, could this be a bearish sign? Yes. Does this mean that the top is $108,000? No. But I do just want to preface this with, listen, guys, nobody knows where the top of Bitcoin is, right? If you come back to 2021, I believe I talked about this in the market update earlier today. Nobody thought that 69K was the top, or a lot of people didn't, right? We started to see the bearish signals. I did not have my channel back then, but obviously, we had some pretty strong top signals here based off the 4-year cycle timing, based off the bearish divergence on the weekly, the monthly, etc. And I will just say, right, there's nobody out there, there's no indicator, there's no technical analyst, there's no trader that can 100% tell you that the top is in at $108,000. Now, I personally don't fall in this camp. I do fall in the camp that we will see new all-time highs in 2025. More specifically, based off the looser monetary policy, if we're able to have that same environment we've had in every single bull market to see these things rip to the upside, I do think 2025 cyclically, should be a pretty good year for Bitcoin. But I do just want to preface this with, I'm never going to come up here, guys, and tell everybody $108,000 is guaranteed 100%, not the top, guys. You're an idiot if you're selling. I could have my opinions, but especially as a trader, as a technical analyst, I know for a fact that nobody knows where this thing is going for certain. Again, it is all a game of probabilities. So, we had someone in chat yesterday talking about how they took profit. And they were saying someone was roasting them because they paid themselves. And I always say, guys, if someone came up here and said, hey, I'm selling some of my Bitcoin, I would never say, you're an idiot. You got to hold for 150 to 200K, right? I would tell you, good job. You're making money. The point of crypto trading or just long-term investing is to make money, not hold your bag for the most amount of money and then never have those bullish targets hit and hold it back to the bottom, which is surprisingly, or not surprisingly, what most people wind up doing. So we do have this head and shoulders. Definitely somewhat of a bearish sign, but again, this isn't if this plays out, it's definitely bear market. We do have those lower targets that I will be looking at locally, as well as those longer-term macro targets. But Zooming in here, we have that daily head and shoulders potentially forming up here. And, the one thing that does make me feel a little about that, or not so good, is the fact that it did come in on that real significant level to put that lower high in at, right? That golden pocket 786 retracement. So let's pull up our levels here. We're going to pull up our major range. Now, yesterday, as you guys know, as we had gotten that rejection, this is a simple deviation above our value area high. This is the power of those volume profiles, guys. We get that deviation above the value area high into that key zone of resistance, the golden pocket at about $102,000. We took that long in the premium Discord. My entry personally was 92.8, so like almost at the tippy bottom here. Made a bunch of money on that long position. Unfortunately, although we did get those bearish confirmations at the high on the deviation above that range, unfortunately it happened when I was not at the chart. It is what it is. You can't catch every single trade. Sometimes it just moves while you're, sleeping. I wasn't sleeping, but, it just moves when you're not at the chart. So I actually missed that position. But we caught this long here at the low, which you guys know, zooming back out here, again, simple deviation above the high. That's where you're looking for the bearish confirmations, specifically for a potential return back into your range. And if we come down here, lower time frame, we could zoom in and look here and say, hey, what happens if you lose this level here? You're going to be looking for price to come down to your value area high. This is oftentimes some kind of support, but eventually once you break down below and you can't get back above it, that is where you see that next drop down to the POC, which is simply where we were sitting, I believe yesterday during the... What was yesterday? The 7th? Yeah, so we were sitting right up here starting to lose this major POC on the live stream last night, and this is where we said, hey, if we can't get above here, the key level to get above right now is $92,345. If we get stuck under this POC, we may be able to get that bigger drop down and begin our larger journey, potentially bringing us down towards the macro value area low. And this is kind of my medium-term bearish target if we see this dump down continue. This is sitting at the pretty much at the value area low of the range, sitting between about 90,800 all the way down to about, $89,847. So again, just looking at this, right, if we just rewind to yesterday's live stream, we'll just call it like, let's say right here, 524, we're seeing this and we're saying, hey, we're back in the range. We got stuck under that value area high. Now we're expecting price to go to the POC. We got it. And then once you start losing that POC, we're saying, hey, probably going to begin that journey down towards that value area low at 90,800. Now, although, and obviously, I'll just play this forward, obviously we did see that happen, but, obviously, we are getting a little bounce from where we are right now, but this still remains my longer-term target if we are going to see this continued downtrend. Now, we did have the local levels as well. Let me get rid of this anchored VWAP real quick just because it's messing me up when I try to resize the chart here. But when we look at this, guys, we knew that we had some local levels in between this POC and the value area low. So, again, overall, for the higher time frame targets, just because we're below this major POC of the major range, we know the doorway, whether we get a retracement first and another move down, if we're going to see that continuation down, this still remains our key zone of support. We've been talking about this for days, and that all remains the same, just kind of updating that we lost the POC. And we know that although the volume profiles sometimes do give you clean moves above the POC right into the value area high, sometimes it winds up being a bit of a sticky journey, right? And then eventually you do wind up seeing that range fill in full. But we knew that we had those local support levels, right? Let me pull that up. We'll pull up our local range here. Sitting right down here, and this is where we had our two major zones of support, at least on the lower time frames that I was looking to trade. Now, there is actually some extra levels down here, but again, looking at things in terms of the local profile, you deviate above the high, you get back in. Here's our major POC that from the range that we were just looking at. That was key level number 1 that we wanted to get above. And then key level number 2 that we didn't want to lose yesterday was this POC, right? But what happens? We know that if we're not, these are the two key zones, right? Because this is our golden pocket, POC confluence. We also had some, I believe, a weekly naked point of control in here. So there was a lot of confluence up here. However, if you don't hold that golden pocket, what are you going to be looking down to? You're going to be looking down to that 786 Fibonacci retracement, which you can see at least here on the 80-minute. We are starting to hold this with 80-minute candle closures. It's not that that's significant. I'm just on the 80-minute time frame, but you guys can see the next zone that we're going to be looking for longs at is the value area low, 786 Fibonacci retracement, because if we're not going to get a bounce off that golden pocket retracement, we could potentially go down for that 786. And that is exactly what happened. And again, in terms of our volume profile here, we know, hey, once you get down to that value area low, as you guys know, I did miss this short position, but as we start leaking out of this range, am I FOMO shorting? Absolutely not. I am not FOMO shorting. As a matter of fact, I am doing the opposite, and I am looking for long positions. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of, I'm going to talk about what made me enter this trade with you guys, and then we'll talk about where we're likely to go next. Actually, in the market update, I took that position. I was showing it on the market update saying, hey, if we can get back above that value area low, as well as some of the other levels we're going to bring up in just a second, we could potentially wiggle our way up back towards that POC, which is what looks like what we're getting right now, right? And then, just before I break down the trade, I will just say if we get above that POC, right, we would just simply be looking to start that journey up to the value area high, and this is going to be a new key level of resistance that I'm looking at. And if anybody could drop it in the chat right now, what do you think is making me think that this is going to be key resistance? I'll give you a hint. Might have something to do with the value areas. Might have something to do with Fibonacci retracements. I don't know. You let me know in the chat. And can everybody look the other way real quick? And don't put any blue L's in the chat, please. I have to sneeze. Hey, true. All right. Well, there we go. No blue L's in the chat, guys. Please, no blue L's in the chat. But let's see. Yo, shout out to GG says, is it me? Or is he talking so fast? Shout out to GG. You are not the first person to say that. I'm from New York. I talk fast. I'm sorry. I don't know. I feel like I fit the perfect description of like a New York trader. I'm just like fast-paced, bing, bong, boom. We're getting stuff done over here. But shout out to GG. Welcome in, bro. If you scrub back slightly, you could probably put me in like 0.75x speed, and it might be normal. But shout out to you, bro. You're not the only person that says that. Let's see. Shout out to Street Rider. I'm not going to bring any attention to that blue L. But let's see here. Yeah, some of us, shout out to TDK, said some of us listen to Frankie in 1.5x speed. That is brutal. That is brutal, bro. I'll be honest, guys. Sometimes when I cut my own videos and I'm editing them and I will run them through 2x speed, it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, taking a look here, guys. When we came down to this value area low, right, and this is the simple, right? I might be making a pre-recorded video soon about literally the only trading strategy that you need. Now, obviously, there's a lot of nuance to trading, but just in general, these volume profile theories that we use are super, super reliable. Even if your trade doesn't play out in full, it's very likely that you're going to get it in profit at some point where you can lock in profits, move your stop loss to break even, protecting your gains, or at least protecting your losses. But we get that move down into this key level here, and we had a couple areas of confluence, right? The value area low, the 786, and the weekly horizontal level down here. And then just underneath this, guys, we did have that backup level of support sitting here on that daily at about $92,611. And what happened here, essentially, now I have been having some trouble with high block capital, so I was unable to physically visualize if there was a hot spot on the liquidation heat maps down here. However, when we have this little wick down here, in the premium Discord, we were talking about this, right? We have this little wick down here. Price comes and sweeps below the volume profile, and we actually did on the 1 hour time frame here. If I pull it up, you guys can see I believe we actually might have gotten this. Yeah, we did also get this on the 30-minute, right, where you come down. I'm going to mark this out as SFP for swing failure pattern. If you guys are wondering what the heck a swing failure pattern is it is one of the, in my opinion, one of the best ways to enter trades. It is like one of the best risk to rewards and the highest probability setups that you could possibly take. But what you're basically looking for is a wick, which likely has a lot of liquidity. A lot of times these will be on, these wicks will be into previous golden pocket or 786 retracements, because a lot of people on retracements will long these levels, leaving a lot of liquidity down below. And then when you revisit this level, right, you're looking for price to come down, wick below that level, and then come above and close your candle above that SFP level. And that is essentially really the only confirmation that we got down here, was the swing failure of that wick into the daily level of support, right? So you're deviating below your volume profile, where we already know that this is undervalued in the relative, based off the relative price action, right? You come out of the value area, this is considered undervalued. Above the value area is considered overvalued. This is where we look for shorts. This is where we look for longs. Not panic shorting down here. We're actually looking for the opposite. I actually talked about this yesterday. When it comes to trading, a lot of people will tell me, Frankie, we're dumping. Why are you looking for longs? Or Frankie, we're ripping. Why are you so bearish? But when it comes to trading, guys, when I say I'm bearish or I'm bullish, the context of the time frame is extremely important. I mean, it's critical, right? Absolutely critical. Because I could say I'm bearish right now on the 1 minute time frame, right? I could say, oh, this is bearish. We just hit resistance, right? And now we're starting to come down. Money flow's coming out. Oh my God, that's bearish, right? But then you come up to, say another time frame, like a 4 hour, right? And you're about to print a green dot. I could have a different bias based off that time frame, right? So a lot of times when I'm bearish or bullish, it is in the context of local price action, right? And when we dump, This is where I am looking for longs every single time. When we pump, that's where I'm looking for shorts every time. It doesn't mean that I don't think we can't continue. It doesn't mean that I think we can't continue, but it just means, like, from a trading perspective, if you're not in a long position at this point as you're pumping up here, right, you have to wait for a pullback to enter a long, or you're kind of stuck there just looking for shorts, right? Context is absolutely king. So with that being said, we've deviated below that profile, right? So number one, deviated below the profile. Number two, you got the SFP of the low into a key level of support. And to be quite honest with you guys, I really would have loved to see a little bit more confluence down here, some kind of bullish divergence or something like that. But we really just didn't have it. We did have a lot of liquidations happen down here, which did give me a little extra confidence. But we went ahead and we took that knife catch. And it is now, I did show this on the market update, but this is now up a bit more here, up about 46%, almost $500 here. Just barely lifting off from that. Visually here, it's like basically a break even here, but up about $500. Not too shabby over here on Blowfin. But yeah, that is, I don't like just talking about like my long positions or like, hey, I long this level, right? I like to talk to you guys about exactly why I entered the trade, right? And actually teach you guys something. So maybe next time you're looking at price action, you have some key levels, maybe you have 2 key levels, and you see some confirmations. You kind of know what I start to look for right now. Usually based on the context, every setup is not the same. You're going to be looking for different confirmations. The whole finding the setup, it's this whole thing alone, right? But I like to share a little bit of sauce on like exactly why I take these trades, right? I'm not just gambling saying like, oh, we pumped to the downside, I'm going to long here and hope I get into profit, right? There are some things, and to be quite honest, not a lot down here, just the SFP into the key level of support. And my thought process here is, the invalidation for this is super clear, right? Because if we start breaking down below this daily, this is where the bearish scenario could wind up playing out, right? And yesterday on the live stream, we were talking about how this daily is one of the last levels of support that we have. We have some down a little bit lower, but at the end of the day, right, like if we weren't going to bounce off this golden pocket, this zone and the deviation below the range was the last chance we had to potentially get a bigger pump to the upside here. So right now, the work to do, just like yesterday, we had to get above the POC at 37.3 to get higher prices on Bitcoin, and if we got rejected below it, we were looking down to this next major key level to fill this volume profile in full. Everything to me, when it's not going to always be a perfect setup, but full value rotation, back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low. Then we can look for longs for a move back into the range, hold the value area low, get above the POC, move up to the value area high, in which case I may be interested in some short positions if we deviate up here again. Why is that? Well, if we're going to come up for a retracement before we get another drop to the downside, we know that our lower high may be likely to come in on that golden pocket 786 retracement when pulled from the high all the way down to the low. So we get above that POC, we have the value area high, right? We still have local resistance in here as well, but just in general, if we're just looking at this as a volume profile, we get above here, flip that POC, the next likely place for price to go is going to be that value area high. And just like the bigger short setup, we have that golden pocket just above that value area high, which could be a high probability area to put in that lower high and continue to the downside, in which case I want to talk about some of those lower supports. I'll get these brushes off the chart, and I will just show you guys, right? Value area high, golden pocket, lower high is likely to come in that zone, right? We also have at that point, you would be deviating above your volume profile, right? Maybe get a wick to the 786 or something like that. But once you get that bearish confirmation, you're going to look for a continuation into your range, down to the POC, down to the low. And at that point, potentially a break of structure to the downside, right? It's very similar, like almost identical to the same kind of setup that we had here on the main range, right? We had the value area high. We deviated into that golden pocket, pulled from the high to the low, high probability of a lower high to get that next drop to the downside. Very similar setup, right? Doesn't matter if you're looking at the daily, the weekly, the 2-day, the 4-hour, the 1 hour, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 16 minute. It doesn't matter. The volume profiles are always going to work exactly the same, whether you're trading a macro profile or a local profile or a potentially micro profile, right? If we had one of these like little tiny baby ranges like we had up here, right? Price impulses. We get a move to the upside. You have this tiny little range in here. It's the same exact thing when you come down to the lower time frames, right? We're just looking at price action in terms, again, this is the 3-minute time frame. It's the same thing on the daily that we just looked at and the 4-hour, right? Overvalued, undervalued, overvalued, undervalued, overvalued, undervalued, not really undervalued, but undervalued, right? And, when you're using the overall context of the market, you know that this whole area that you're hitting your head against is a high probability macro resistance that could put a macro lower high in for a massive move down. This is where you want to be looking for the bearish confirmations. And in this particular case, the one that we had up there, just because we're looking at it, the one that we had up there, was very simply put. I'll pull up the 30-minute, right? You come up, you swing fail the highs here. Again, another beautiful SFP of these highs. Boom, wick above, closure down below. You're then just looking at this as a potential drop back into your range, down to the POC, down to the value area low. And then if you break down, you are now holding a portion of that short from that tippy top, right? So the volume profiles always behave the same, whether you're looking at a low time frame, a high time frame, they all behave exactly the same. But the overall context is always going to be important, right? Because if we weren't hitting a macro level of resistance up here, if this wasn't a high probability area to put the lower high in at, then I probably would have been more favoring long positions at the bottom of that value area, right? So just a little bit of educational sauce for the Mafia. But now let's go ahead and break down these lower levels of support. Because again, let's not forget, guys, potential head and shoulders could be a bearish signal for more downside if we're unable to hold these levels. And again, locally, or not super long time frame, 90,800 down to the daily horizontal at 89,909 is that next major zone, right? Again, it's just the value area, right? We come down to the low, maybe we deviate into the daily. This is where we would potentially be looking for long positions before getting another move to the upside. But if we're going to see this turn out to be extremely, extremely bearish, guys, it is possible, right? When we take a look at our daily time frame, there were some things on Market Cipher B yesterday that we were looking at that were looking kind of bearish. Money flow starting to come to the downside. Also, that incoming red dot on the daily with the 90-minute money flow crossover into the red was likely to give us that continuation to the downside. And you can see here, earlier today, we lost that. Well, we lost that POC. This is where we were like yesterday during the live stream. And then once that 90-minute money flow crossed into the red, boom, we continue that downtrend to 92.5. Which, again, was our key zone of support where we were looking for the long. And, again, this is a very small move here. This is a risky long position. This is not like, oh, you're an idiot if you didn't long this, right? Like, this is kind of a knife catch situation, especially with that daily red dot printing, especially with that 90-minute money flow kind of having a fresh crossover into the red. And, another thing we were looking at was the 16-hour red dot, right? That was printing, the 12-hour red dot that was printing with our 45-minute and our 1-hour money flow. We even did a little recap before I ended the before we ended the stream here, right? Money flow was in the red here. We just got that early crossover as we were testing that POC. And then once we were getting that 12-hour red dot, we knew, right, that money flow crossover would indicate a trend continuation to the downside. And what happens? Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, attempting to maybe get a little bit of a reversal here, right? So, yeah, we saw that stuff play out. This money flow here now on the daily is continuing to the downside. We also have our 16-hour, let me get rid of this anchored VWAP, right? We also have our 16-hour money flow kind of staying alive here. She's staying up here. But if we take a look at the 12-hour, oh, yeah, still trying to stay alive here. Yeah, I'll be honest, right? Like, daily money flow coming out, like, we'll see here. 8-hour money flow still alive here. 6-hour, kind of nothing to take away from that. 4-hour, 5-hour. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here, but this daily money flow is really the big thing. The red dot with the 90-minute money flow, as well as just this general daily money flow, kind of wiggling its way to the downside here. We're in a bull market right now. Is the continuation up and fake out, to the downside? Very likely, sure. But we do have to keep our eyes open for that potential bearish scenario in case we do get it. Like I said, as a trader, we have to look at the if this, then that statements. It's anything other than trying to play both sides of the card. I know a lot of people say about traders like, oh, they just play both sides of the card so they're never wrong. That's not the goal here, right? Like, we're wrong sometimes, right? Like, we're not always right, and I'll never sit up here and try to pretend I'm right, but as traders, you have to look at the bullish and bearish case because there's a million opportunities to make money out there, right? But everyone just wants, like, is it going up or down? Tell me. And like I said, context and time frames are the most important thing when asking those questions. Now, if you say to me, hey, Frankie, what do you think? Does the 15-minute look bullish right now? I could give you a direct answer, up or down. In the next hour, then maybe you could get a little bit more of a direct answer. But most people just want to know if we're going to 200K or we're going to zero, which is impossible to tell, right? At least 100% with 100% certainty. So all we could do is find those bearish puzzle pieces, money flow coming out, daily red dot, right? We have the potential head and shoulders that we just looked at, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If this continues us out, especially with that daily money flow coming out, if it continues us down and we wind up losing our range here and we don't deviate, with bullish confirmations for a move back up to the high, I will simply hold my short from $106,000, right? I will continue to hold this. We already put in the lower high potentially. If we continue down and we can't hold this range, I will hold that short from 106K for much more profit, which brings us to our next major level of support, which, again, is the same thing that we've been looking at for quite some time here. And if I just re-pull this up, you guys can see we have the golden pocket retracement sitting between 82 and about 81.4, right? And then we also have this anchored VWAP coming up, which is going to be confluent with the bottom of this blue box. So if we saw the bigger drop to the downside, right, we have some local levels in here I'm going to bring up, right? But if we see the overall massive bearish scenario play out, this is still our major level of support. Do not forget this. Between 82,716 and about $80,000 even. A lot of confluence here, and in my opinion, at this point, I'm not calling bear market just yet, right? We still, this would not be like the craziest correction ever if we did get down there, right? 26%. This is not necessarily unheard of in a bull market, right? We talk about this all the time. So if the big bear, if that head and shoulders winds up playing out, actually, if we measured this out, let's measure this out real quick. Let's see. Let me just, I'm just going to kind of roughly measure this out. Right, so we'll just grab that. I don't recommend doing your measured moves like this, guys. You should not be using a brush tool. I'll just use the trend line here from measure this. Let's just get that measured move. Well, it does bring us right into that zone, right? So this head and shoulders is a potential opportunity for that bigger drop down to $82,000 to $80,000. This is in the cards, but it is not the next scenario, right? Because, again, if we break down, technically the next scenario is value area low with a slight deviation, which, by the way, we do have backup support here at 87,347, right? So if we do wind up breaking down here, coming to the low, deviating below 87, between 87 and I would even call it $85,000. Like I would look at this as a little bit of a range because you have to think to yourself, this $85,000 level right here below this wick may be a big area where we have a lot of liquidity sitting. So, pretty much between about $87,000 and $85,000 would kind of be like the next significant zone of support that I would look at, right? Maybe we deviate down below, right? And, we have to assess the situation when we get there. Depending on what the chart looks like here, we'll know if it's a higher probability of, coming down here or not. But, we break down here, got that daily, that, at that point, really this daily level at 87, call it 87,347. Like this is your last key level, right? Because even if we did come down, right, lose 87,000, once you start playing around with this wick, there is a potential possibility for a massive, massive liquidation event, which would push you into that $82,000 to $80,000 level. But again, I do want to just repeat. This is like a doomsday situation. It is definitely possible. It's in the cards 100%. If anyone's telling you that it is impossible to go down to $82,000 to $80,000, they're lying to you. They might be right? They have a chance of being right. But nobody knows 100% what is going to happen here. And I never want the mafia to be like off sides here, right? I want to give you guys realistic information-based analysis here. I'm not here to tell you, hopium pump your bags, right? I want you guys to be understand that, this is in the cards. But it is not, it's just like worst case scenario right now. But even then, if we see it, it is not the end of the bull market, at least at that point, right? It could get worse. We could get super bearish signs, right? If we start dipping below that, I am getting a little bit worried. But again, we're going to keep our cool. We're not getting emotional. Oh my God, we lost 80K. Oh my God, it's bear market. Like you don't want to be making these decisive calls just yet. If you are worried about, if you're up massively on your bag and you're not taking any profit up here, that's going to be on you. No one's going to be able to call the top for you, right? So, if you're panicking, oh my God, like I can't endure a move down to 80K, right? If that's really freaking you out and getting in your head, it probably means one of two things. Yeah, probably should have taken profit when we came up, or you might have just entered into the market late, which is totally fine. You should not feel bad about that. This happens to everybody in their first crypto cycle. But, it's probably more telling of your situation on your buy-ins than it is telling you about, being confident about what happens, right? So that's the key levels. They remain the same right now. Let's see if we can hold these local levels. If we start breaking this daily level here, right? We start breaking that daily, and I'd probably look for a move down to, $90,800 to $89,909 is technically the next target to the downside. But we're going to hold the long and see what happens here. Let me actually go ahead and don't forget this as well, guys, right? If we come down to that $80-ish thousand area, just understand bull market support band is also coming through here as well. Right, so we have massive, massive support down here if we get the drop. And again, that head and shoulders measured move does bring you down there. More specifically, like right into that anchored VWAP. So we'll see what happens. But just to give you guys a clear view of kind of like the long term here, right? Like worst case scenario, we could see something like that, right? Or maybe even something potentially worse. But I'm not going to cross that bridge until we get there. But something like this is not out of the question. So keep it in mind. What else did I want to look at? I wanted to look at something else with you guys. I think that's it. We covered the head and shoulders. We covered the key levels of support, which I'm sure people are sick of hearing about. We know this zone is down here. But yeah, there you go. That's how I'm handling things. We're going to hold that long position. Let's see. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, panic. What the heck is that? Shout out to Jesse. We never panic over here. As a trader, I'll be honest with you guys. As a trader, I am never panicked, right? Like, when we get dumps to the downside, it is really funny. And we get that, usually about a 5% move is all we need to get, like, real crazy, people freaking out, right? 5% move, people like, oh my God, it's going to 100K, or a 5% move down, people like, oh my God, it's going to 0, right? Like, these 5% moves up and down don't do anything to me, right? Because as a trader, I've beaten that emotion out of me, right? And just looking at the market and seeing things pump and dump and hold levels of support and get gravitated towards specific areas or points of interest, whether it's a value area level, a fib level, this really does give you like an overall confidence on, never having to panic, right? Because I know, oh my God, we're ripping to the upside, right? Well, I only really see this as a value area high, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, what do we do here? It's pumping. Should I buy? Should I sell? And all I'm seeing this as is like, well, hey, I know we're coming up to a value area high. I know the bearish confirmations that we're getting up here. We're probably going to come back down to the bottom of the range. And more often than not, you do wind up getting that to play out, right? It's not 100%, but you do oftentimes get that to play out, right? And then here, everyone's like, oh my God, the dump is continuing. Oh my God, right? This is where we just took that long position in the premium Discord, which wound up getting back into your value area, back to the POC, back to the value area high. And then everyone's like, oh my God, what do I do? Do I buy? Do I sell? And we're like, hey, 102K is a big target. If you get bearish confirmations up here, might be able to get back into the range and go back down to the low. Now we're just in that same exact situation, right? And just to point this out, like, these are things that we've actually, this setup was given in the premium Discord. I'm not doing this to show the Discord. I'm just doing it to say that, like, we actually do this, right? Like, I'm not just bringing this up in hindsight. We had the setup here on Christmas Eve, I believe, for the short position, back down to the value area low. I think the range was slightly different here, so the target was, I think, like 95K. And then once we deviate below the low, we indeed did take this long position, showed it on the live stream, all the way up to the value area high into 102K, right? And then in the premium, we were looking at this as a potential short setup, and the confirmations that we were looking for, I just personally was not at the charts to catch that entry. But we did put that in the Discord, right, for a move back down to the low. We're just here once again, right, trading the charts. Now, this one might not play out, right? I might get stopped out at break even or something on this trade, right? Or maybe, depending on what happens here, I might move my stop loss into profit at some point. But, what happens here, right? Maybe it doesn't play out. Well, then we say, well, hey, what's going on now, right? We got stopped out for a small loss because risk management is everything, right? We hide the range. We pull up the macro levels. And we're like, okay, well, now I'm just going to sit here, enjoy my gains from my short from 106K to continue to pay me out until I can look for a new long position, right? So there you go. And one more thing I did want to look at. This is what I wanted to look at. The VPVR. Let's pull this up real quick. I'm going to take a sip of that Aztecian Cactus Moss Water here. And shout out to Chemistry Bro. I don't know if he's in the chat. He was saying yesterday he was cooking me for using a plastic straw. And we now have the... Can't hear it. This is a glass straw. Glass straw, baby. Let's go. Save the turtles. Save the turtles. All right, let's see. Let's check in on chat real quick, and I want to take a look at the VPVR with you guys. Let's see. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto. Said I was richer today, or is richer yesterday than I am today. Shout out to Satoshi. Yeah, I have that feeling every day. I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm up. The next day, oh my God, I'm poor. Oh my God, I'm rich. Oh my God, I'm poor. Oh my God, I'm rich. Now I'm poor. Shout out to the crypto people out there. Let's get it. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Scam water. Shout out to VSun. Alien Andromeda bound alien scam water is what we call it. Absolutely. This stuff jacks me up. Let me tell you. It's actually called Super U if you guys want to check it out. But anyway, I'm not paid by them, by the way. Bada boom. Being back, plastic straws, they are superior. Shout out to Mike. Yeah, plastic straws are superior to paper straws. Let me know. Put a turtle in the chat if you like paper straws over plastic straws. By the way, if you like plastic straws better than paper straws, I don't think you hate turtles. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Put the turtles in the chat if you love the paper straws. But I want to take a look at this with you guys. So, if we pull up our visible range volume profile, guys, you can see, right? When we, again, another reason why that $85,000 level, may be a real key level to hold. I'm going to pull up that daily again. Honestly, it might just be this daily. Unless we're going to come swing fail this low down here, I'm just going to draw this roughly, right, at about $85,000. Unless we SFP that level, which is something I will be looking at, I will say this daily level, you can see, does give us kind of that big fall off in volume. And then that next spike up in volume really doesn't happen until the bottom of this box at about $80,000, right? So it's just another thing, right? We come down. We could deviate below. If we hold that daily, we may be able to get a move back up into the range and back to the high. However, once you start losing that daily, you are also losing, right? High volume, right? Then you have that low volume gap leading you all the way down to 80K. So we get accepted underneath this, and we cannot reclaim that daily. It could be a quick move down back to this golden pocket. And this is also just supported by, if we pull up a higher time frame here, you can see quick moves up, right? What do we always say? Quick move up oftentimes leads to a quick move down, right? Come here, quick move down, right? So quick move up oftentimes makes a quick move down. That's what creates the imbalance here, or I'm sorry, the low volume gap, right? So once you get into, there's nothing holding you up here until you get down to about 80K. You have some high volume nodes. You know, you have a little one here at about 84.4, but for the most part, this is a pretty big gap down to this blue box, right? And again, in line with these candles. Quick move up oftentimes gives you a quick move down. You can see here, quick move up, big old volume gap, right? So if we lost that golden pocket, probably going to be a quick move down to the 786. Hopefully, we don't have to come down here. I pray that we do not have to come down to this level. Please, for the love of God. Bullish on parade, please back us up if we come down here. We're going to need you to really start rearing those horns, bro. We're going to need you to rear those horns for us. But yeah, let's see. Bamboo straws. Okay, wow, we got a lot of paper straw lovers in here. Shout out to you guys. Love turtles. Shout out to Crypto Owl. Absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, wow, more turtles than I thought. Again, if you like plastic straws, I don't think you hate turtles. But yeah, the paper straws are kind of brutal. They fall apart. But listen, if it's going to save the turtles, it's going to save the turtles, right? Question is, does it really save the turtles? I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know the answer to that question. I only know where Bitcoin's going. But let's see. Shout out to Kaj. Said, Frankie, will you ever do merch hoodies? It's getting cold in Dutchy land. Yo, shout out to Kaj. Yes, we will eventually do hoodies. We did used to have crew neck sweaters that were said CandleMafia with our. Hang on, I'll actually show you the pattern. Never mind, I don't have it here. But it said like CandleMafia with a Heikinashi uptrend. It was actually pretty sick. But we actually don't have them anymore. But we will be making hoodies at some point. We're going to revisit merch. We want to do it right and make sure it's like affordable. We don't want to like hammer people over the head for t-shirts and sweatshirts. But we're definitely going to be getting back on that very soon. We have the hats. Right now, all we have as far as merch are the Frankie Candles hats on frankiecandlestrading.com. You guys can check that out. Link in the description down below. Alex says, y'all brainwashed. About what? About what? Let us know. Let us know. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Brainwashed about the straws or brainwashed about Bitcoin? Let's go. Let us know, Alec. Shout out to English B says, does Frankie have more tutorial videos? Shout out to English B. Yes, we have tons. The entire YouTube channel is filled with tutorial videos. You can check out the beginner series if you're just getting started on the charts. That's the best playlist to start on. But if you go through the whole channel, we've been making tutorials here since 2 years ago, so more. So we got tons of tutorials. My YouTube channel is basically a free trading course, and I mean that. Go check them out. Let's see. I use metal straws. Shout out to Pennywise. Let's go. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's continue on here, right? So just understand, even separate from the volume profile, separate from the Fibonacci levels, if we were just looking at this from a pure volume perspective here, right? If I pull up a clean chart, right? Let's pull up that clean Bitstamp chart, pull up that VPVR. I will just say, right? If you just left me here with the volume and I was looking at this from a high time frame perspective, come on, volume, repopulate. Come on. There we go, right? I would be saying well, hey, you start losing this high volume node starting at about 85.4, right on our level, right? I would say, hey, this is probably going to be pretty close to your danger zone. You lose this, probably going to fall all the way through that gap. And the scary thing here is that 77 to 76K is really the actual next high volume node. All these other ones, even inside 80,000 to 82K, are pretty small nodes, right? It's pretty much a gap all the way down to 77 to 76K. Now, again, it doesn't guarantee that we get there, but it does show you that that is the importance of holding above that $85,000 level, right? So I would say really between about the daily level, right? Let me unhide the TA here. Between this day, starting at this daily at 87,327, all the way down to that $85,000 level is going to be your major levels of support. If not, we could easily fall through to these golden pockets /786. Hopefully not the 786. But that's what we're looking at, guys. That's what we're looking at. And locally, we'll see. We'll keep an eye here on Bitcoin as price action develops. See if we can get a wiggle up towards that point of control. Whoops. Point of control of our local, get rid of this. Point of control of our local range. We've already almost gotten there. We almost got there. We got a little bit more to go. Come on. But we'll see. We'll see if we can crack out of this, like, aggressive trend line. But I will say this, 4-hour green dot, if we are going to get a move up here, like, I don't see a better chance than now if we're going to get it. Like, it's not a horrible time. We're back above the value area low. We're holding the 786. We're above the daily. We're above the weekly. We just got above that key level of support. Green dot is potentially incoming on market cipher B here. Take a look at the 15-minute. That money flow is attempting to come up. It's getting pretty harshly rejected here. Dang. But if this 15-minute money flow crosses into the green, could potentially continue us with that green dot printing on market on the 4-hour, right? That could give us a continuation of the trend to the upside. With the final target, right, or next major target sitting up at the value area high, starting at about 98,690, all the way up to the top of the golden pocket at about 99.6. So that's what I'd be looking at. That is the roadmap for Bitcoin. 15-minute, if we get the 15-minute money flow crossover with the 4-hour green dot, I would anticipate a potential continuation up. But overall, we have to be careful here because we could just wind up putting in another lower high and then sending this thing down to the real targets, which hopefully is just 89K, but could potentially wind up playing out with that whole head and shoulders, down to 86, and then potentially down to those $82,000 levels that we just looked at. So there you go. Let's see. Bada boom. Crypto for Life said, give us a percentage. Shout out to Crypto for Life. Give us a percentage, 80% chance of a dump. Let's see here. If I had to put a percentage on it, again, really depends on the context, right? Like 80% chance of a dump. If I said there was an 80% chance of a dump, and then we get a retracement up to the value area high first, people are going to be like, what the heck? You said there was an 80% chance of a dump, but people, you do have to understand that there is market fluctuations, right? So if I said 80% chance of a dump, right? Like everybody wants that clean answer, but no one can provide that answer for you, right? Like literally nobody. Like I'm not saying that because I can't, right? Like nobody can. They could give you the answer, but they're not going to be right all the time, right? But if I say 80% of a drop right now, most people are just going to expect like, oh, I could short and I'll get the drop down, right? So if you get the retracement, which is very likely here, especially with the 4-hour green dot, 15-minute money flow, if you get the retracement and then the big drop, it's like, yeah, 80% chance of a dump, but you gotta, a lot of times, put in the retracements before those bigger moves down. So it's really hard to just say 80% drop up or down without like more context to the question, right? Like I would probably put, if you get the 15-minute money flow crossover, I'd put a 80% chance on a continuation of the local trend, but that's within the specific context of the 15-minute, right? So it really depends. I would need more context. But yeah, let's continue on. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Shout out to Wick 589 OG of the CandleMafia says, Wifey and I are about to play Dance Dance Revolution on our Nintendo machine. Yo, shout out to Wick 589. Bro, oh my God, I wish I knew the song I used to play when I was a kid on DDR. Shout out to Dance Dance Revolution. If you know, you know. If you're a 90s baby, you know what Dance Dance Revolution is. It was the leverage trading before leverage trading was out. I'm kidding. But let's continue on. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these altcoins, guys. If you want to see your favorite altcoin, drop them in the chat. We'll keep an eye on this price action moving through the rest of the stream. See if we can get that 15-minute money flow crossover. Looks like that red dot decided to print, so we'll see. I think we'll know here pretty soon if this red dot is just gonna yoink money flow back into the red, right? And we're just gonna not print that 4-hour red dot. Maybe the VWAP gets rejected. I think we're gonna find out pretty soon. Maybe on the stream right now. If we get that red dot and maybe we pull back a little bit, right? And then that money flow curves up and crosses into the green. You know, I think we might see the kind of result, right? Or the play out of this kind of situation maybe during the stream. So we'll keep an eye on this. But drop those altcoins in the chat. Rob the Crypto Sample, count up the votes and let us know what we're doing. Hey, shout out to Chemistry, bro. I didn't see if you were in chat before, bro. But we got that glass straw, bro. We got that glass straw. Let's get it. Render, yeah, Okay, all right, I like it. ICP, we can take a look at ICP. Yeah, shout out to Rob. Let's do like 3 requests, and then we'll do some freestyles. I'll grab some out of the chat in a little while. Let's see. Yo, you guys are crazy, bro. Some of these chats I can't even read. But anyway, let's continue on. Yo, shout out to Pro Platinum. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, why is sleep so expensive these days? LOL. ICP levels, please. Shout out to Pro Platinum. I appreciate the super chat, bro. We will try to take a look at ICP for you, no problemo, man. And yeah, sleep sometimes is expensive. That's why you got to set those stop losses. I don't know what that was in the context of. Maybe your long-term bags. But yeah. No more expensive sleep than the sleep that you forget to put a stop loss on and you get liquidated overnight. Man, I've had some expensive dreams, guys. I've had $10,000 dreams before. They weren't that good. I would have rather had the 10 grand. But anyway, let's continue on. All right, let's continue on. Okay, so let's first take a look at ETH. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. He said show ETH. Let's get it. All right, so let's take a look here. So as you guys know, kind of the context yesterday, or what we were looking at yesterday on ETH was the same thing as on Bitcoin, pretty much, right? We were getting below this POC. What was yesterday? The 7th? Yeah, so 5, 6 p.m., right? We're below that POC. We're losing that spider line. So the line in the sand to get us back into a palatable situation for Ethereum was we would have had to get above that spider line, flip that POC, get that move back up to the value area high. But don't forget, guys, we did have the key level of resistance up here, right? We knew that this value area high, golden pocket retracement, just like on Bitcoin, was a massive target. We also had the confluence of this spider line flying through here, and we did wind up getting pretty significant bearish divergences into that key level before getting accepted back into the range, getting our drop down to the POC, and now we are breaking down below. And I will say, we've lost the POC, we've lost the spider line, and now we are attempting to reclaim this tapped daily level, which had acted as support once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, acted as support many times over here, and we have now slipped below that level. So right now, and if I were to look at this in terms, I'm going to get rid of this tap daily, because if we look at this in terms of local volume profiles, I could probably pull this range like that, and that same tap daily winds up being your local value area low, right? So if I pull this as kind of a little local mini volume profile, you can see here, grab the horizontal ray, bada boom, value area low, POC, value area high, right? So very similar to Bitcoin, right? We slip this local value area low, right? We come back in. If we hold above this level here at about $3,300, we could look for a retracement into about $3,395, flip that $3,395, look for that value area high at about $3,451, and then this would be kind of the local resistance levels above, right? Now, if we're unable to reclaim and hold this value area low as support for the bigger move up, and we lose this range, we're simply zooming out and looking at our overall profile with our value area low sitting down here closer to the $3,000 level. Now, this is a huge level that we had been looking at on Ethereum for quite some time, right? As we were bing-bonging around here, we're saying, hey, we front-ran this value area low. It remains untapped. We got one more move up to the high. But now, if we can't get accepted back into that local range, maybe we do wind up seeing that value area low tapped. But to be quite honest, it's pretty choppy, or it's pretty just kind of noisy here, to be quite honest with you guys, right? Clean rejection here. But, overall, this price action is kind of like front-run the low, wiggle around here. Everyone probably thinks this is a bear pennant, right? And then it breaks to the upside, of course. And then, you hit the resistance, you come back down. This is pretty choppy price action. So, my longer-term levels remain exactly the same. Our key level of resistance, and this is why, guys, I like to wait for the high probability levels, right, and the high probability setups, because you can see this is very choppy price action in here, right? Could you trade this local profile? It's not as clean as it was on Bitcoin, but you could see, where do the strong reactions happen from, right? They happen from the higher time frame key levels. Value area high, macro golden pocket, we tap it, huge move, right? Even in the past here, after we deviated above, what happens? We break back below the range, we get the bearish rejection on the value area high, big move, right? In between that, you're kind of just trading noise. You're like, ooh, whoa, whoa, I don't know what's going to happen. Whoa, right? And this is why I like to wait for those high probability areas, right? So, again, the next area below would be right here for a high probability, bigger reaction to the upside. But until then, I'd be looking at these local volume profile levels on Ethereum. Now, coming from a market cipher perspective, let's take a look here. Start off on the higher time frames, looking at the daily red dot is already confirmed. Your 2-day red dot is printing. And we got that 2-day blood diamond. Yikes. I don't like that. I do not like that 3-day blood diamond. Yikes. Don't like that. All right. Good thing we don't have a weekly. All right. Beautiful. So you have the 2 and 3 day blood diamond. So definitely not impossible. Kind of a similar situation to this, right? You have the blood diamond up here, bada boom, right back down to the low. Blood diamond up here. Maybe we can make it back down to that value area low. But again, these are not 100%. Oftentimes, it does indicate much more downside. But in some cases, you get a blood diamond, it comes down, and then you get a quick recovery. But again, overall, these are pretty bearish signs. These do not pop up often on the 3-day, right? You can see here, blood diamond, pretty big continuation to the downside. Blood diamond, pretty big continuation to the downside. And that's about, like even here, blood diamond, continuation down. So they are definitely, what is that, 4 or 5 out of, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 out of 6 were pretty aggressive. So just keep that in mind, right? These are definitely bearish signals. I don't love that. I don't love that, especially into that macro golden pocket. So if we don't hold this value area low, this is kind of our last chance. Oh, God, we're getting a 4-hour yellow X too. Yikes. I do not like longing into the yellow X's. So, yeah, if you can't get back up in here, if you lose this local volume profile, I'm definitely looking down towards about $3,000 for Ethereum, where we have this nice little zone, technically between 3,079 and 2,966. So there you go. For me, I would have to, if I were looking for trades on ETH, I would either have to be long from down here like I am on Bitcoin, looking to get back into the range, go to the POC and the high. If not, I would have to be waiting for another drop to the downside and a retracement to look for new shorts, right? Like there's really no trade to be had here other than a long. But again, at this point, your long would really have to be in the context of like just being above the value area low, right? Like I don't really see any super, super significant signals down here to take along, to be honest. You did sweep these lows similar to Bitcoin, but again, I would have rather been in lower, right? So if I were to long here, you're basically just longing the idea of the value area, bringing you up to the POC and the high for a 4.29% move up. But again, there's not a ton of confirmation, so just understand that. Not a trade setup, right? I'm just saying, if you were to long here, you're just saying, hey, we're above the value area low, maybe we can go to the high. But where I like to see deviations below with some kind of entry trigger, like an SFP like we had on Bitcoin. We also had it here on ETH. But yeah, if we lose this, probably looking down, towards $3,000. So there we go. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to Genfen Law. Are you a lawyer? Shout out to you. Let's see. Hey, Frankie, your TA is always appreciated. Thank you, man. Smash them likes. Let's go. Genfen, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for that. I appreciate you very much. And I appreciate you appreciating me. And I know Crypto Billy appreciates you appreciating me, appreciating you. So shout out to Crypto Billy. Tony D said, thank you for the super chat. He says, for anyone who asks, TradingView playlist consisting of all 6 TradingView videos. If you guys want to learn how I use TradingView and how I set up my charts, all that good stuff, you guys can check that out. I do believe there's a TradingView masterclass in the beginner series. That is kind of the all-encompassing video. If you just want to start from scratch, I highly recommend going straight to that TradingView video in the beginner series, the TradingView masterclass. It was uploaded recently at the end of last year. Can we take a look at Solana today, please? Well, shout out to Mike McCarthy. Yeah, we can take a look at Solana. No problemo, bro. Let's take a look at it. And then we're going to jump into our alt list. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. Said straight to 5K from here. Hopefully he's talking about Ethereum and not Bitcoin. Shout out to Chem Bro. Let's see. Let me pin this chat for the altcoins. Thank you for that, Rob. I appreciate your service, sir. Let's see. Oh, it's in that playlist as well. Okay, shout out to Tony D. Yeah, I would go for the masterclass. Is the most updated video, but the other one still has sauce in it. There's some sauce in the older ones that is not the new one. Otherwise, I'd have to have like a 3-hour video. TradingView is a crazy platform with a ton of different features, so it would literally be impossible to cover in every single everything in one video. All right, let's see. Shout out to Tyler, said I hate everyone and appreciate nobody. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Shout out to you, bro. We still appreciate you, Tyler. But let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Wick said it must be a nice, simple life that you lead. Hey, listen, people who, and obviously Tyler's kidding, guys, but I do wonder like the simplicity of just like the people who are just like, I hate everybody, I just keep to myself. I mean, that's got to be a simple life, a lonely life, probably a sad life. But anyway, let's continue on. Tyler's actually joking. I hope he is. Shout out to Tyler. But let's see here. Yeah, shout out to Hattie. I will take a look at AVAX I'm actually going to add that to my little local list here. And before we move on to Solana, we're going to drop that sauce on Solana, but I do just want to make sure I did miss some super chats. Let me just go through these really quickly. ICP, yeah, shout out to Jack. We will take a look at ICP. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Let's see. Minnie Mouse says, Myron, Evil Twin on Solana, a LFG. Push it. Shout out to Minnie. I do want to just reiterate, I do not promote any specific coin at all. I've never worked with a coin. I've never worked with a project. If I ever did, I would disclose it, and I probably just never will. But shout out to Minnie Mouse. I hope it pumps for you, bro. Robert said, can we take a look at Tima? Seems like it's holding strong in this crypto red day. KuCoin listing is coming up soon. Shout out to Robert. We could try to take a look at Tima for you. No problem. Let's see. And I think that's it. I think we got them all. I just wanted to make sure I didn't leave anybody out there. But let's go ahead and jump into Solana, guys. Let's take a look at Solana here. Yeah, let's take a look. So this is not the Solana chart that I want to see. Let's pull it up over here. Actually, no. I think this is the Solana chart. Let me just bear with me here, guys. All right, so let me hide that mini range. Okay, yeah, so this is it. Let me get rid of this tap. So I have this tapped weekly naked point of control because this is the level that we bounced off of, right? And we just basically ran right into another weekly naked point of control. Got a bearish divergence here on the 8-hour. Got the drop back to the downside. I'm going to get rid of this tapped weekly naked, or I'm actually at least just going to hide it. So, yeah, like your next major zone of support here. We looked at Solana last night. At this point, right, if we get another continuation to the downside, right, I would say key level on Solana between 163.69 and 169.12 with the value area high in between. So you have golden pocket, value area high confluence. If we drop down here, that's going to be a big level to hold. We start getting accepted into here, I'm probably looking closer down to about 142, right, towards the 786 POC of the range. 2 reasons to look for a quicker drop down to about 142 if you get below the golden pocket value area high at about 163 bucks, right? The reason for that is if you lose that golden pocket, the next likely place for price to go is going to be a move into that POC, right? And if you lose the value area high, the next high probability area for price to go is the POC. And the funny thing is here that the 786 and the POC are right on top of each other here. So definitely a pretty clear roadmap to what I would expect here if the move continues down. Now, if we look at money flow, I will say we've spent a decent amount of time in the red here for Solana. Now, does this mean that we can't continue into the red? That's not what it means at all, right? But I will say, if I were looking for a huge move down to $143, right, $142, I would want to see like maybe a big green wave about to cross over into the red, but this is already has the 12-hour money flow. Sure, we're in the red. Sure, we could come down more, but I will say just from a general perspective, this is starting to work its way up, right? In which case, we could be ready to start an uptrend here. But again, you got to hold these levels. When we break down here to that golden pocket, that is invalidated. So kind of like critical moment here, not only for Bitcoin, but a lot of the altcoins as well. So we'll see what happens, right? Like, see if we can get that money flow to creep up on the 12-hour. In that case, we anticipate the trend. Even if we kind of wick down a little bit more, we would expect that trend to continue to the upside. Coming on over to the daily, right? Daily money flow, I don't really love it, right? Like, I'll be honest, we're back in the green, but from a binary perspective here, money flow is trending to the downside, right? You have high and a lower high. I know we've crossed back over into the green, but you have to understand that this could just be to fake out into the green to continue the trend to the downside. If this money flow in the daily crosses over into the red, that means that the 12-hour is probably just going to drag down deeper into the red. So it's a little bit confusing here on the money flow, right? Like 8-hour money flow is completely, back in the green, back in the red, back in the green, comes down, starting to spike back up here. So the money flow is a little bit hard to read here. And like I said, guys, like a lot of times, like in situations like this, in such a choppy market, money flow does get kind of chopped up, right? This is just the situation with any indicator, right? In choppy markets, it's not as easy to read, right? But 16-hour money flow coming back up. Yeah, 2-day rolling over. It's hard to call this one. I will just give the key levels here for Solana. Money flow's kind of choppy. Take for what we went over. Take that for what it's worth. Golden pocket. Lose the golden pocket value area high between 163.33 and 162.77. Look for that bigger drop down towards that POC 786. Lose the POC 786. I'll be quite honest with you. You kind of have a ton of support below that, if I'm being quite honest, right? Like, you have 2 weekly naked points of controls, a daily horizontal. You have multiple daily horizontals here, and then you have one down at the value area low, right? Like, you have a ton. Like, this is kind of one huge, gigantic zone of support. This is not how I would trade it, but, like, this whole zone down here, there's a lot of levels in here. So, yeah, maybe we get something like this. Bearish case, come down to the golden pocket, lose it to the 786. Bullish case, we try to hold this uptrend. That 12-hour money flow squeezes you back to the upside, and you can come back into this value area. But right now, locally, 4-hour double green dot, and that green dot is printing. So, yes, short term, you might be able to wiggle back up here, if I'm being honest. 15-minute money flow about to continue back into the green here. Yeah, if this thing's going to push up, no better chance to do it than now. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Solana. All right, let's see. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, last time hit the like or get liquidated. Final warning, 1,000 likes is needed or you guys will get liquidated. According to Jesse, I think he does work for a lot of major exchanges. They will liquidate everybody if we don't get 1,000 likes. But if we get 1,000 likes, we'll give away $150 in Solana. Shout out to Jesse. Obviously, we're kidding, guys. Obviously, we're kidding. But seriously, if you like babies and puppies, or babies or puppies, smash that like button. If you like toddles, hit that like button. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to Crypto Costa. Says, what about 38 or 3 billion liquidations at 99K? Obviously, that is on Bitcoin here. And I'll tell you what. If there's $3 billion in $3 billion in liquidations up here, right? 99K. I'll tell you what. See, the one thing I don't love about this is, like, you don't really have a wick that you could SFP. But if you have a lot of liquidations up here, I would be looking for those short confirmations that we look for on big liquidation events to take a short back down to the low. But again, when we talk about liquidity, you have to understand when you're looking at something like a liquidation heat map or something like this, liquidations work in many different ways, or two different ways really, right? Like, either it's going to fuel a big move to the upside, or you're going to quickly liquidate those positions, come back down below that level, close your candle, and then get a big drop back to the downside. It really depends on the context. Unfortunately, shout out to Tony. Maybe we could reach out to Vinny from High Block and see if there's a problem or something, because I am struggling finding the liquidation levels on High Block. It is just super laggy. I don't know if it's something I'm doing. Maybe you can reach out to him, bro, because I've been kind of like feeling lost. Like, I can't look at the liquidity. So, yeah, I'm, like, missing a bunch of tools for the past couple days. So, yeah, if we could actually, Tony, if you could hit him up, that'd be great. I don't know if he's going to be able to help us, but maybe he will be able to. Yo, shout out to Sergeant. Shout out to Sergeant Oist of G's, or Captain Kirk, as we like to call her. Says, bye, fam. I got to go to work. Yo, shout out to Sergeant. We appreciate you for being here. Thank you for everything you do for us here. Did you just pop in? How come I didn't see your name before? Shout out to Captain Kirk. Have a great day at work, and thank you for hanging out with us here. We appreciate you. Let's see. Shout out to Tony D. Get yourself a Tony D, guys. Tony's just like, yeah, I did that last night. I didn't even ask him. He probably just thought. Oh, shout out to Tony, man. Tony's just like, I'm going to have to wind up giving Tony, like, daily raises. Anyway, I'm just kidding, guys. Let's see. 115K next. Listen, I'll give you this, right? I'll give you this real quick before we continue on to the altcoins, which next we got ADA, ICP, SEI, and AVAX. We're going to take a look at those. But I will say, right, 115K. Is it possible? Is it even possible? 112 to 115K would technically, in my opinion, be the next big target to the upside, right? Can't say that we're going to go there from here, right? Is it impossible? No. But the way the charts look right now, I'm not, sometimes maybe you have to be able to call that a little bit more confidently. But yeah, it's funny. I forgot who said this. I'm not saying you're saying this, but in the bull market, a lot of people be like, 115K next, right? That's very hard to call. Like, next from here, like, that'd be real hard to predict. But, maybe we do something like that, maybe wiggle around. But really the next major target, I will say this, once we break the all-time high, right, the next major Fibonacci extension target will be sitting here between 112 and 115.5. By the way, guys, if you want to check out my 2025 overall outlook on Bitcoin going into this year, check the video out. We uploaded it earlier this morning. Probably should have uploaded it at a different time. It was kind of a bad time to upload. But anyway, we wanted to drop it ASAP. Go check out that video. If you want to link the video in the chat, Tony, for everybody, go ahead and please do that. If you guys want my full outlook on what I'm expecting here in 2025, hint, hint, nobody knows, but I give you my price predictions. I give you my top 3 price targets for the top, where I think the top would likely come in. No guarantees, right? 108K, right? Do I think this is the top? No. Do I think there's a possibility it could be the top? Absolutely, right? There is some possibility, right? Nothing is impossible. But, my own opinion, you're talking to someone who would be willing to endure something like this, right? So calling 100, like if I were going to call 108K the top, like I wouldn't be calling it right this second. But anyway, yeah, 115K, we got those fib targets. So I forgot who said that, but shout out to you, bro. 115K is in that next major target to the upside for me personally. So let's go ahead and move on here. Let's take a look. We took a look at Solana. We took a look at Ethereum. Let's go ahead and jump into Cardano. Let's go ahead and jump into the Cardanzo. Let's take a look here. Bada boom, bada bing. Come on. All right, so Cardano, hey, guys, I'm just saying, right? Listen, we give the actual trade setups and we give the actual confirmations that I look for to enter the trades in the premium Discord, but I'm not going to lie. If I could go back in time and I had someone on YouTube giving me key levels like this, spitting sauce, showing how they enter trades, given the strategies with all the tutorials we have on the channel, I'd be like, listen, check out the premium Discord, link in the description down below. But low-key, I'd just be like, yo, screw this, man. I'm getting free education here. I tune into the live streams. I get the key levels. I already watching Frankie for a long time. I understand what he likes to look for. There's so much free sauce here, guys, and I'll just say, like, what are we doing here, right? We had our next key level to the downside here on Cardano, which was this golden pocket, value area low confluence. It's both a daily time frame, right? No daily level in there. But what happens? We come on down. We get some kind of a little front run on that value area low, a little bounce. You start to deviate down below. And where are we getting that little bounce from right now? Right off that golden pocket, right? Now, does this mean we're about to go to the moon? Not necessarily, right? But we're down at support, right? So we get that move down. We actually front ran this value area high, which is this pulled? Maybe I can, let me tighten up this range pull. I might just keep it the way it's not going to move that much. But we're sitting at support here. I'll just tell you this. If we can't hold this golden pocket and we lose it, for sure, 100%, the next key level I'm looking at is this daily horizontal down to the 786. This is sitting between 84 cents and 82 cents, right? If you lose the golden pocket, you're looking to come down here. Daily 786, right? Unless you held the POC of this consolidation, right? Which, I don't know if I would necessarily be looking at that. Yeah, you can look at this PLC at about 89 cents as a key level. But for the most part, this is your next real significant level of support down below. And you have a weekly level down there as well, which I will mark out for you guys. And you could copy these levels if you do so wish. Let's take a look. Drop that horizontal weekly. And there we go, right? So your next significant support level and I'm going to talk about the situation in here lower time frame, but between the weekly, daily, and 786, sitting between, I would say, 86 and 82.5 cents. That's your next key level support if you lose the golden pocket. However, take a look at Market Cipher B. If that 4-hour green dot prints, I will say, check that 15-minute money flow. You guys know when you see that 4-hour green dot, you're going to be pushing down towards that 15-minute time frame. So look at the money flow. Shout out to Gifted Kings, says Frankie Candles. Speaking of sauce, where are the sauce cans? Shout out to Gifted Kings. Are you talking about the sauce cans from the Frankie Candles Essentials Indicator? Or are you talking about the sauce cans in the chat? If you have a membership, drop those sauce cans in the chat, baby. Let's go. Jesse said so much value. Talking about the X Space. Billy Go tells, we didn't shill that yesterday. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Hopefully Billy did. Billy, please shill that. Please shill that so I don't forget. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's see here. But yeah, shout out to Crypto Billy or Billy Goat Tales on X, guys, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Check them out. Make sure you don't miss those. Let's see. Okay, so let's continue on here. But taking a look here, guys, we're at support, right? If we can get that 15-minute money flow to come back into the green here with that 4-hour green dot printing, which is incoming. It's not there yet, but it is incoming. Get above that value area low, flip it to support. Technically, the next level you would be anticipating would be the POC of the range, but you're gonna want to be careful here on these Fibonacci levels, right? Let's pull. You probably have confluence on that POC, I would assume. Yeah, this would be like the next major target. If you get back above that value area low, if the green dot prints, if you get the 15-minute money flow crossover, look for it to push into the POC Golden Pocket 786. This is your next key zone of resistance, in my opinion, right? Even if things are going to get more bearish, Might do something like that. But, you know, the key level to get above right now is this value area low at 95 cents. If you can't reclaim this, probably going to push down towards this next zone. Take a look at the daily. Yeah, daily red dot printing. Let's check that 90-minute money flow. Already in the red. And indeed, we got one last push to the upside as that money flow crossed over here, but then we eventually did get the dump. Let's take a look at the 2-day VWAP coming down as well. So, yeah, these are definitely the levels I would be looking at. Yeah, that 2-day red dot print's probably going to see this zone come in. So we'll see. Will we hit it? Will we hit it, guys? Will we hit? Let me know in the chat. Do you think we're going to hit 86, 82 cents, or you think we're going to hold from where we are right now? There's those sauce cans. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, let's continue on here. Hey, shout out to Jason, said, at Frankie, I appreciate all the free sauce you provide. I desire to pay it forward very soon. Shout out to Jason. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Not only taking the sauce, looking to pay it forward, bro. I love that. I love that. By the way, next time you guys go to Starbucks, pay for the person behind you. I do that low-key all the time. It's fun. It's fun. Because if you ever get caught, like someone pays for your drink or something in a drive-thru when you're behind them, that's lit. You start, like the people at Starbucks, I know the people at my Starbucks, they, because I go there very often, and they always tell me, they're like, hey man, like remember when you pay for that guy? Like oftentimes they'll be like, hey, every time you pay for someone, that chain goes for so long because you pay for that person's drink, and most of the time, if they can afford it, people will be like, hey, you know what? I'll just pick up the guy behind me. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful who's behind you. Sometimes they have a big order. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to Michael S. said, hey, Frankie, what is the purpose of switching exchanges when you look at different BTC charts? Shout out to Michael S. That's a great question. For me personally, I like to look at the Bybit USD perpetual chart, right, for Bitcoin personally. Really, what would make you look at a different chart is, you know, it's for multiple different reasons, right? You know, for the most part, if you're not like scalping or short-term day trading, like most charts are going to be pretty dang close. They're not going to have much difference between them. But if you're trading futures, right, if you're trading on leverage, you're going to want to look at a perpetual contract chart, right? Because this is going to be more accurate to what you're seeing, right? You're going to see those big liquidations in the candles, right? You see the big liquidation wicks. The reason I use Bybit is because I've just learned over time that, you know, I used to use a few different charts, right? But I kept getting my levels front ran. And it started getting frustrating after a while. I was like, you know what? This is like the 6th trade in a row that I was looking for a long or a short, and the level got front ran by like a couple bucks. And so I just started testing out different charts, and I find that the Bybit chart just happens to be, specifically the USD perpetual contract chart, tends to be like the level that the chart that gets respected the absolute most. That might be arguable, right? Some people might have other opinions, but for me, that's what works. And like another reason you would change, like if you're trading, say, on Femex or you're trading on Blowfin, some people like to trade on the exchange, on the chart that is provided by the exchange that they're trading on, just for like the highest level of accuracy. But again, when you do that, sometimes you front run those levels, and by looking at the Bybit chart, that has almost stopped that from happening completely for me. It's not 100%, but it really has stopped those front runs like very, very nicely for me. Let's see, bada boom, bada bing. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on really, really quickly, guys. I want to take a look at ICP. We just took a look at Cardano. Let's jump into ICP. And let's take a look here, right? So ICP, right? We still have our key level down here. We barely front ran it. Notice it's not the Bybit chart. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're just within our volume profile here, guys, right? Like we have our key level down below, value area low sitting at 1025, 786 just below that. So you do have confluence here. Where is this actual? Let me see something. Come on. Where's this golden pocket at? Yeah, so you can see, right, we came down. We did not hold. Well, actually, hang on. Yeah, we held that golden pocket. We've already taken this, right? So I'm going to actually get this fib off the chart because, yeah, we hit the golden pocket. We got the bounce. We lost it, right? And then we eventually reclaimed it. I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to pull a new. There we go. Golden pocket, value area low. This is much more sound and local here, right? So your key level, in my opinion here, pulled from the low to the high, is going to be golden pocket, value area low. Like if you come down, right, this is where you would hope to get a bounce. If you do not get the bounce there, I'd look down towards the 786. Once you lose the 786, that's where you're looking down towards the value area low below. Start losing that, probably going to get the bigger drop down. I'm hoping and praying that we do not have to see any other altcoins go back into their bear market accumulation ranges, right? I know this isn't really like the bear market. This was after price had gotten the big rip up in 2024, right? And then we came down here in this little accumulation range. Hopefully we don't have to come back down in here. This would be brutal, right? This would be absolutely brutal if we come down in there. So like the hope here is that you kind of just hold this larger long zone, right? Golden pocket 786, right? Here you have the golden pocket and the value area low confluence, which is pretty nice to see. You do have daily levels. You have a daily level here, so it's a little bit of confluence there. Bada boom, label that as a daily, and I'll actually go ahead and separate these levels, right? So level number 1, golden pocket value area low. Level number 2, daily 786. These are the two levels to the downside. Once you lose that 786, I think this, right? I think this might have been a strong lower high. Once you start losing that 786, might be in for something a little bit more brutal. But hopefully we can hold these lows. Those are two critical levels on ICP. 3-day money flow crossover into the green. This is something we were looking at on a lot of coins, altcoins specifically. Well, I guess there could only be, if you say coins, you have to be talking about altcoins because there's not more than one Bitcoin. But anyway, money flow crossover into the green on the 3-day. Like, these are nothing to scoff at, guys. Last 3-day money flow crossover into the green led us into a massive, massive, massive run of about 389%. Now we're getting another one. If we come up into the green here, as long as this money flow stays in the green, we can anticipate the continuation of the overall uptrend, right? Now, if we were... Yeah, you can look at this a few different ways, right? Like locally, you have the golden pocket 786, but if we take those away, like in the grand scheme of things, if we're talking about 3-day money flow crossovers, right? These are higher time frame, right? You have your 786, macro 786, value area high confluence, and then this also gives you the golden pocket pretty much in the same zone as the local golden pocket 786. So that's kind of what I'd look at in the long term. Money flow crossover into the green, you would hope we've already gotten that 786 hold on the value area high, right? So this could be the higher low, right, to continue our uptrend. So even if we kind of bounce around here, hopefully we just continue the uptrend, that money flow stays in the green, and the trend continues up. But other than that, key levels remain the same. Key level to the upside, 1289 is your POC. Key levels to the downside, this golden pocket, and then the value area high, 786. All right, let's jump into our next altcoin here. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Kaj, says, good night, Mafia. I have important things to do in the morning. Yo, my favorite thing is when people say something and then put parentheses. Yo, Tony D does that a lot. Tony hit us with one. Kaj says, yeah, good night, Mafia. I have important things to do. I don't. No, you got to trade tomorrow, Kaj. You got to trade tomorrow, bro. You got important things to do. You got money to make, baby. You got money to make. But yeah, there we go. How did you miss that super chat? Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat, bro. This guy's a psycho. He says, 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 Cokes, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, 55 pastas. If you don't know what that's from, I don't know if you have a sense of humor. It's from I Think You Should Leave. Check it out on Netflix, guys. It is... You're either going to think it's the dumbest show on earth or you're going to think it's the funniest thing in the world. But if you're in the Mafia, you're probably going to find it very funny. Shout out to Tony D, bro. And that's what it's like when you pay for someone behind you in a drive-thru. You got to be careful because you never know the guy that's trying to come down here and get 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 Cokes, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, and 55 pastas. Anyway, let's continue on here. It either makes no sense or it makes all the sense. But anyway, let's see. $10 super chat restricted my characters. That's crazy. They make you pay more for more characters. I thought it just changed the color and the amount of time that it stayed up at. That's kind of crazy. All right, let's see. Hoping to get snowed in over the weekend and still able to trade these charts, baby. Let's go. Shout out to J-Rock. Yeah, that's nice. Get a snow day and then just sit on the charts. That's dangerous, though. That's dangerous because if you make more money than you make at your job on a snow day, then those cogs start spinning in your head, and you're like, maybe I can fire my boss, which is definitely possible. But don't get ahead of yourselves. I never recommend someone quit their job to pursue trading full-time unless they're already making money consistently over an extended period of time. Not you had a good week, so you quit your job. That is a disaster waiting to happen. I can promise you that for many different reasons. Yeah, and the guy behind me is paying for it. Shout out to Tony Roaz. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. We took a look at ADA. We took a look at ICP. We took a look at SEI. I'm just kidding, guys. Sorry, I'm tweaked out on this Aztecian Cactus Moss Water, guys. Let's take a look at SEI. Take a look at SEI. All right. Yo, shout out to Wick 589. Always the receiver of the supers, never the sender. So he doesn't know about the character limit. Shout out to Wick 589. I usually, when I send super chats, like sometimes I'll jump into Casper's stream, drop him the super chat. I try not to like what do you call it? Like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't like throw anybody off, right? Like I just like, people doing their live streams, I let them do their thing. But sometimes I do go in and show love. But usually they're pretty short. I never tried to like write a long thing. But anyway, they're usually $100 super. I don't know. But anyway, shout out to Wick 589. Let's see. Shout out to Jesse, said still on 480 likes. Who didn't like it? Let's get liquidated. Yo, shout out to Jesse. Smash that like button, guys. $150 in Solana if we get 1,000 likes. It's almost like we only get 1,000 likes when Bitcoin pumps. But we don't need Bitcoin to pump to hit the like button, guys. You could still make money in crypto by winning $150 in Solana from me if Bitcoin is dumping. But anyway, let's continue on. Maybe we could take a look at XRP. Shout out to Mars. Yes, Mars Maserati. Yo, shout out to you, bro. All right, let's take a look here. So, took a look at ICP, SEI. Let's take a look. This, I don't think we've taken, what was the last time we took a look at SEI? So it was all the way before the holidays. All right, so let's take a look here. Let's pull up the daily. Yeah, I mean, hey. Came up, rejected the POC golden pocket. This gold, no, that is a weird one. Crazy how you respect this golden pocket. This is a random golden pocket. This is not what I would have been looking at. What I would have been looking at was this golden pocket. Huh. All right, well, interesting. But you did wind up, just get rid of the fib, right? But you do have your POC here, right? So basically, context here. You got your move up, right? What is this? This is 2024. So, yeah, you get your move up. You break into your range. You get a rejection off your POC. Nice little bearish divergence on the daily as well. You lose your range. Bearish retest. You get the break back to the downside. Now, I was not looking at this at the time, right? I guess we probably just didn't look at SEI. But the way I would look at this is an area of balance sitting right here. So we'll pull this little local range and see how it correlates with price action. Boom. And actually pull that. Yeah, pull that right there. Okay, so let's mark this out. It's not really a significant, maybe I could even potentially extend that. Yeah, so I'd probably look at this, right? Because that's our area of balance, right? Bing, bong, bing, bong. Little deviation, but then you get back into the range. Bing, bong, bing, bong. You get the breakout. So I'm going to stop the pull right there. Value area high, POC, value area low. So this is probably the volume profile. It's not the cleanest. If I'm being totally honest, this is not the most pretty profile that you could look at, but it is there, right? You got to work with what you got. So these would be the local levels, right? Value area low at 40 cents, POC at 45 cents, and then the value area high at 50 cents. You do have potential no confluence there on your value area high. That's a bummer. Slightly above it, kind of similar to Bitcoin on the local Fibonacci retracement, but I'll probably just leave that there. So let's take a look. 3-day red dot. Don't give us the blood diamond. That's DBSI. Where is Market Cipher A? Give me Market Cipher A, baby. Give me Market Cipher A. Yeah, so you don't have any blood diamonds here on the higher time frames, which is pretty nice. 3-day red dot is printing. And, yeah, you got your daily blood diamond. I mean, listen, I'll give you the key levels down below. Let's get that. Value area low, POC, value area high. Yeah, look at the money flow. In the green, in the red. Ugh. Don't love it, don't love it. In the green, in the red. Ugh. 8 hour. into the green, into the red. This looks a little better. So, I mean, here's the context, right? You are simply, you are simply deviating below your value area low. So, no real necessarily, you don't really have, way this momentum wave looks, I would probably anticipate another low to come in here. So I would probably be looking, as you deviate below here, for another low to be put in for a bullish divergence on the 2 hour specifically. Now, where is that 2 hour bull div going to come in on? Kind of hard to say, right? Because you do have the value area high down below, so that is kind of like the next key level technically. You've already lost your 786, so that's not the best case. Let's pull up a higher time frame so I can look at these higher time frame fibs. Let's pull from the absolute low to the absolute high. Let's pull it from the impulse that broke us out here. Okay, so this I don't hate. I'm going to look at it like this. Turn that blue for longs, and then... So this is how I would look at this. Whoops. Deviating below your range. Put another low into this next key level of support. I would be interested in potential long positions. Little freebie here on the live stream. Right? Again, it really depends on the confirmations down here. I don't necessarily always take longs off of just bullish divergences at key levels, especially when it's a value area high. I like to see nice confirmation because if you get stuck underneath here, probably going to get a drop closer to about 28 cents. But if I see some nice divergences, money flow is confluent, maybe if we can get some potential order flow confirmations, really depends on what happens when we get down there. I would potentially look for a long back into the value area low as a TP1, back into the POC as a TP2, and then look for that final TP up at the value area high for a 40% move. No guarantee we get down there, but just the way this 2 hour momentum wave looks, it does look like we could potentially put that bullish divergence in and get that little pop to the upside. So we'll see. We'll see if it plays out. We'll see if it plays out. So there we go. Not a trade, again, it's not just set into limit order here and look for a long and get into a long, right? You have to have the confirmations, right? But that 2 hour bull div might be something nice to see down there. So we'll see if it plays out. But anyway, let's see. Yo, shout out to Wick589 said half of my redunculous super chats that you never understand are because of character limits. Shout out to Wick589. Is that why you're such a good poet? Is that why you speak in riddles, to get around the character limit? Shout out to Wick589. All right, let's see. Let's continue on here. We got SEI, ADA, ICP. We said we'd take a look at AVAX. By the way, if you guys are looking for a place to trade, you can check out Blowfin. Link in the description down below. Forgot to say that. Go ahead and check them out if you guys are looking for a place to trade. Again, don't just set limit orders, but, I do like to kind of tease some stuff, right? Like, I'll be honest with you guys. As much as I like to look at multiple confirmations, right? Like, every trade has a different confidence level, right? If we have, like, multiple levels of confluence for support, we have multiple bullish confirmations, entry triggers, meaning, I might put a little heavier risk on. But, I'll be honest here, guys. If you put me in the woods with a laptop, volume profiles and divergences, whether it's Market Cipher B or the RSI, because if you don't have Market Cipher B, obviously you do have a little bit of an edge here with the money flow, etc., the Market Cipher 1/16 strategies. But I will just say, if you don't have money to afford a premium indicator like Market Cipher B, you could still look for divergences, right? Like, my whole trading strategy can be traded for free, right? You don't need premium indicators. Now, again, does Market Cipher B give you an extra edge? Yes. Does Luxal give an extra edge? Yes. Does ExoCharts give you an extra edge? Absolutely. I think that one gives you the biggest edge. But I could totally trade this with all free indicators. Just look to come down to your value areas and look for divergences. Maybe I'll make a video about that. But again, I like to see more than that. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump on into AVAX, or AVAX, as James Cramer might call it. So let's take a look here. What do we got going on? I mean, we're just in our volume profile here, right? So if we pull up here on the daily time frame, red dot is confirmed. We're just at the POC. Based off the laws of the volume profile, we got accepted back into the range. We've come down to the POC. We know the POC acts as a magnet. As you can see, we've been pulled down not once, not twice, but 3 times, right? We got 3 taps on this thing. Technically, maybe we could just get out of here. But I will say, even if we did get a retracement, you do have pretty significant resistance above. You have your value area high, golden pocket 786. This is a huge area that we could put in a lower high in and then come down to lower prices. But very simple plan here on AVAX, right? So if we zoom in here, very, very simple plan. Lose the PLC golden pocket, you look to come down to this next zone. 3166 to 2946. This, for me personally, for big trades, is a no-trade zone, right? This is not an area where I'm interested in trades. I'd rather look for trades at the key level of resistance or our next key level of support. Now, as we came down at this point, depending on what the charts looked like on the lower time frames, maybe I would have taken a long position at the POC based off the golden pocket confluence. But just in general here, like for the bigger trades, I would much rather just wait for a move up to look for a short or wait for a higher probability long at the key level of support down below. So I'm actually going to get rid of this blue box because as this has been tapped many times, actually, no, I'll just leave it. It looks cleaner. But, lose that golden pocket. I'm looking to come down in here. And the reason for that, guys, is because if we come down to the value area low and we deviate into that 786, this is where I'm always looking for longs, right? At that point, we had already gotten a full drop to the POC and a full rotation of our range, right? And this is oftentimes, again, you look for shorts above the high, longs above the low, right? In any volume profile you're trading. Like even here, below the low, back to the high. Above the high, back to the low. Below the low, back to the POC and the high. Right? We didn't go all the way to the high, but a move to the POC is likely if you get confirmations, right? Maybe there were no confirmations down here. But I will just say, like, just like this, I'm not interested in trading, right? Like right here. I'm not looking for a trade here. I'm rather going to wait for a deviation above the high with confirmations for a big drop down or waiting for a drop down for a better move to the upside back into the range. Because we know if we come down here, you are undervalued, looking to come back into the fair value. If you're up here, this is overvalued. When we look for shorts above these highs, guys, everyone wonders why we're bearish, right? We're not bearish long-term. We're just bearish for a move back down into the range. So those are the key levels. Lower zone between the 786 value area low between 2946 and 3166. And then the POC golden pocket is sitting between 3624 and 3402. Boom. Boom. If we're not going to take off here, I'm looking down here. Once you lose that 786, yikes. Then you're probably looking to come, again, back down to this accumulation range, which literally nobody wants. Nobody wants this. This would be absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. But there we go. Smash that like button. Shout out to Jesse and Pennywise teaming up with Jesse, getting people to smash that like button. Come on, Mafia. We can do it. We can do it. I know we can. All right. Let's take a quick look at hey, shout out to J-Rock. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He says, can we check out Ondo if we have time, please, Frankie? Yeah, we can take a quick look at Ondo. Let's take a look. What do we got here? Where is Ondo? There we go. Is this our current Ondo chart? Hang on a second. The heck is going on here? Why is this so noisy? Definitely get rid of that. Yeah, no, this is our chart. Oh, the reason that was there, hang on, guys. Let me just get rid of the 786 and the golden pocket on this fib, because I kept this on because there's extension levels, right, to get us those extension levels, which hilariously enough was where we topped out on Ondo. And shout out to the premium Discord, guys. We were looking at Ondo. I don't want to lie. Hang on. I don't want to lie here. Hang on one second. We were looking at Ondo before we got that big rip to the upside. I think we actually talked about this in the premium live stream recently. Checking back in on this. Yeah, looking at Ondo down at 74 cents. Looking for a breakout of that accumulation range, specifically to get that move into that value area low, flip that value area low, move into the POC, and then the value area high. And then once we get out of that value area high is simply, you might say to yourself, well, once we get above that value area high, and just to put that into context, let me just get rid of this box real quick. Just to put that into context here, right? There is 74 cents right here, right? Looking for the breakout, flip a support on the value area high. How did you know, Frank? How did you know we would get that rip into the value area high? It's a rotation of value. We as soon as we impulse out of here, we look to get gravitated towards that previous area of balance, which is simply sitting right here, right? So you impulse out of here. You look to come into your range, go to the value area high. Once you get out of this value area, you're looking into your Fibonacci extension targets where you had your first one at $1.71, second one at $1.89, third one at $2.09, leading into this whole zone. And what happened, right? We literally came in here and we put in a pretty nasty daily bearish divergence, lower highs on your momentum waves, higher highs on your price action for a drop back down. And where are you looking for your key support? I will say, very naturally, you're going to be looking towards that balance, that last previous area of balance, which is sitting down here between $1.30 and $1.20, right? Golden pocket couldn't hold. Let me just make sure this is correctly pulled. Yes. So we held that golden pocket, right, for a little bit. Then we lost it. Where do you expect price to go once you lose that golden pocket? Well, you're going to be looking for it to come down to the 786. We wicked down to that 786. Hopefully, this is the low. However, as we're battling here at that value area high, you got the bounce on the 786, which was confluent with the POC of the range. So nice confluence there for a high probability bounce. You get it, right? For about 11%, that's plenty to make some money on a leverage trade. But, you know, you got to get out of this value area, right? You get back above that value area high if you want the continuation up. And you did get the full 786 retracement, at least here, pulled from this low to the high. But if you lose that 786, I'd be looking to come down to the low / daily naked point of control, which is sitting right about hither between $1.09 and $1, you know, basically at $1.09, right? So, you know, this could be a good place to put in the higher low and continue up. But I will say, if you lose it, probably looking down towards that $1.09 area. Let me just check the monthly real quick. Okay, so other than that, taking a look at the daily, and money flow is kind of not really much to take away from that. Your 2-day red dot's confirmed. 3-day money flow's in the green here. This is typically a big sign on the altcoins, guys. Like, yeah, again, this still looks, right? Like, even though we're getting local pullbacks, like this 3-day, at least on Ondo, even if you got a little bit more of a drip down, if that money flow stays in the green, I can't unsee the potential possibility of putting in a bearish divergence here, which would call for a break of structure to the upside in order to put in that bearish divergence. Really hard to say. We got a pretty harsh rejection on the 0 line there. So, yeah, money flow's still really chopped up. 2 hour. Yeah, we're in the green. We're in the red. Very hard to say. But those are the key levels. And that's the context. Lose that 786, look to go to the low, where we could easily look for longs once again. It's just a plain game of volume profiles. So, yeah, there you go. I'm trying to see if I can pull a bigger range here, but I can't. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to George, wants to see XRP. Let's take a quick look at XRP here, guys. Jumping on into everybody's favorite altcoin is what it seems like. ICP and XRP. I don't know if I ever see requests more than those two coins. But what were we looking at last? Oh, no. What were we looking at last live stream? Bear with me here. Are we looking at this XRP chart? Let me see. Nope. Oh, that's our old chart. So we were looking at this one. Just double check. Boom. All right, so let's take a look here. So yesterday, I believe we looked at XRP. I'm almost 100% positive. Where we have, let me come on to the 4-hour time frame. This is our local profile, right? This is kind of what we looked at. We looked at the macro situation on XRP, and now we're looking at the more local situation, right? We've come up almost to that value area high, and then we got the rejection back to the POC. We lost the POC, where we had these two key levels of support. Yeah, where were we yesterday? I'll know if we looked at it. Yeah. What is this, 7 a.m.? No, so maybe we looked at this on Monday. Because we were kind of just floating up here and then saying, hey, maybe we get one more flash to the downside. Key levels of support. You have your local golden pocket retracement coming in right here at about 223. And then once we lose this golden pocket, the next key zone is going to be sitting here on XRP, $2.17 to $2.12. Lose that golden pocket, come into the 786 value area low. This was just the simple volume profile situation for me. Come to the high, look to go to the POC, lose the POC, potentially look to come to the low. It's hard to say if we're going to hold this golden pocket or not. For me personally, I'd rather wait for the low of the range to find that next trade, right? Or wait to come up above that range to look for the next short, right? So right now, this is a no trade zone for me. I would rather come down to the low for a long position. Now, daily, green dot now printing on XRP. Let's check that 90-minute money flow. 90-minute money flow about to cross over. It is crossing over into the green. Interesting. So we've gotten our golden pocket retracement. Could that be the low on XRP? It's really, I mean, it's obviously impossible to tell for 100%, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. In the grand scheme here for XRP, I will say, right, let's pull this in. When we look at this, right, just pull that value area high. I mean, this is, you have to understand in a bull market, guys, you typically are going to get moves up, bullish consolidation, especially XRP loves to just bullpenning out, right? Like squeeze to the upside, right? Like this is looking like maybe some bullish consolidation, right? And then just to flash our local range, just to give you like the context of what we were just looking at, right? That's just this local volume profile here where we could look for longs, not only at the value area low, but deviation into this large zone of support on the macro POC with a much more important Fibonacci retracement if we did get the bigger drop down, right? Like maybe we fake out here and then get another big move up. So, you know, just locally, very simply put, this is your context. Looking for longs here, right? Well, longs at the golden pocket. Longs here. I don't know why I'm looking at this so small. Longs at the, whoops, look, come on. Longs at the golden pocket, longs at the 786 value area low. We lose that. I'd be looking to come down here. Pretty big area of support down here, and then you start bringing up the larger range, and you notice that the macro POC is flying through there as well. All right, so those are the three major zones of support. Hopefully, we can just see this be more of a situation like a bull pennant, right? If you're looking at this more of like just bullish consolidation, right? Maybe you draw it like a bull pennant. Come on. Boom. Boom, right? And you're just going to kind of wiggle around here and then finally get the breakout. That would be really nice. If you needed to endure a little bit more pain, maybe you sweep the lows before finally coming up. But that 90-minute money flow crossover may be able to continue that trend to the upside, in which case this golden pocket value area high at about 254. It's going to be your next key zone of resistance. Get above that. Look to go to the 786 at 269. And then once we get above there, you know, we're very close to all-time highs here. So, you know, for me, I just like to take the longer-term outlook on XRP, right? All-time high sitting right here, 290, or current high at 291, and then your all-time high is sitting up here at 331. And once you crack that, could be looking up towards target number one at about $5.28. Is this thing about to break out? I hope so, guys. I hope so. And when we take a look here, take a look at that 3-day, right? That 3-day green dot was printing with money flow coming up. Now we're printing a red dot. We got a little VWAP flop here, so, you know, it is noisy, it is confusing, but as long as this money flow stays in the green on the 3-day, could be good. 4-day money flow also in the green. 5-day looking to print a green dot potentially here. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'd rather wait for a little bit more of a long position and see if we can crack up into all-time highs. If I find a entry here, I may take it on XRP, although I mainly trade Bitcoin. 16-hour green dot printing. That means our 1-hour money flow. Yeah, that setup's not there. Market cipher B116 strategy, not quite there yet. 45-minute money flow crossover with your 12-hour green dot could be nice, though, with your daily and your 90-minute as well. So, yeah, I'd watch this 90-minute. All eyes on the 90-minute money flow crossover and the 45-minute money flow crossover on XRP. Because if that green dot stays and we get that money flow to come into the green here, that would indicate that we could get a trend to the upside. Crack that 786, maybe off into that old all-time high before potentially just rocket shipping out of here. So we'll see. Most bearish case, local bearish case, $1.90. More bearish case, $1.60. But I don't know if you're going to get the move all the way back down there. But the level is there, so keep it in mind. Got any of that Sui chart tonight? Shout out to TradeMate. We can take a quick look at Sui, no problemo. Shout out to Jesse, said the people have failed me. Smash that exclamation, question mark, ampersand, whatever that is called, at symbol, quote, money sign, like button. I know who didn't. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for being the like police, bro. Guys, smash that dang like button if you like babies and puppies. If you hate babies and puppies, don't smash that like button. If you want to blow up your trading account, don't smash that like button. I'm just kidding. All right, let's see. Let's jump into Sui real quick. We took a look at Sui yesterday, I do believe. But we'll take another look at it here today. And, all right, here we are. Old golden pocket. And there we are, 786 retracement. Very similar to what happened on Bitcoin, right? We got the spill down. We didn't hold the golden pocket. We stuck the 786. Same thing on Bitcoin, right? We came down. We lost the golden pocket. We stuck the 786. Very, very similar from like a technical perspective, right? And then we can get rid of this. That's an old level. So yeah, like the two levels here were obviously the golden pocket, POC confluence, and then you have the 786 down below. That is what we're holding right now. I mean, if you could get out of here, this could be a potentially, this is from the impulse. This could be like a finished higher low, right? Could be a finished higher low before getting out of that value area and continuing up to our next targets, which in my opinion, let's take a look at what those next targets could be. I'm going to have to get rid of this so I can see that wick. From the high to the low. So yeah, next target is going to be at about, call it 558 up to about, I would call it between 558 and about 576, right? So if we're able to get out of here, again, 786 retracement could be that higher low that we needed before getting out of here and coming into our next Fibonacci level. However, I will say, come on. Get over here. Get over here. Get over here. There we go. Let's see, 12-hour VWAP coming up, 8-hour green dot printing. So once you get that 8-hour green dot, you got to go down to that 30-minute money flow, check what it's doing, and it is headed in the right direction. So very similar to what we just looked at. Forget what coin it was. We've looked a lot tonight. The Market Cipher B116 strategy, 8-hour green dot printing. If you could hold above this value area high, above this anchored VWAP, which currently sits at 475, get this money flow crossover into the green at the same time as the 8-hour green dot, I would anticipate a continuation of the trend to the upside. Now, you do still have some work to do here, right? It wouldn't just be instant all-time highs. But you do have your golden pocket, 786. These would be two big levels, right? Golden pocket starts here, 786 starts here. Pull the fixed range volume profile. This would be a significant confluence. Value area low, 786. Once you get above that level, right, and obviously golden pocket would be a significant level as well. So these are your, these are your local levels to the upside. But if that money flow crossover into the green on the 30-minute with the 8-hour green dot happens, I do think you could potentially trend back up to these prices. And then you obviously have your value area sitting above. Bada boom. So that's what I'd be looking at on SUI. 30-minute money flow crossover is the thing to watch. All right. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. I don't even need to translate that. I've got a pretty good idea. Shout out to K Diggity. I don't know what you're trying to translate. But yeah, I don't know. Shout out to K Diggity. All right, let's see. Shout out to Aziz. Says, any advice on managing side spot holdings before the high is in? Do you sell based off calendar, Frankie? Shout out to Aziz. I don't want to say like selling based off dates is. I don't sell based off the date, right? And the reason for that is, I mean, just in the simplest form, like I'm a technical trader, right? So to me, selling on a date is just like, I don't know. It wouldn't be like the worst idea. Like it's not the worst strategy, but for me, honestly, like I base everything off of, go watch the 2025 video that we dropped earlier this morning. I talk about literally the exact targets that I'm looking at for the potential top of Bitcoin to come in this bull run and how I'm going to be handling laddering out, right, at these specific targets, right? So I wait for targets to get a hit, and then I ladder out slowly depending on those actual technical targets, right? This is based off information on the charts, Fibonacci extensions, spider lines, stuff like this, right? So I have those technical targets. Now, this doesn't guarantee just because it's based off technicals that we're going to hit those targets. However, you know, for me to just be like, well, we topped out around this time on this cycle, we topped around this time on this cycle, and then the last cycle we topped out around this time, so I'm thinking I'm going to sell around that time this time. Is that a horrible strategy? Like, is there no logic to that? You know, it's not bad. But here's the thing, right? The 4-year cycle, a lot of people who sell based off the dates are pretty much just putting all their eggs in like the 4-year cycle, the halving cycle being the one thing that moves Bitcoin. And to be honest with you guys, now, do I believe in the 4-year cycle? Do I believe in the fact that, you know, when Bitcoin when we have the halving, does it become cause a supply shock? Does that cause the price to run up? Does that have a factor? Yes. But at the end of the day, as you're going to learn in that 2025 prediction video, you're going to learn very quickly that Bitcoin is essentially the 4-year cycle. I don't want to call it like a myth, but at the end of the day, Bitcoin tracks. It's based off two things, right? It's based off the monetary policy, and it is based off the stock market, right? When the stock market rallies, Bitcoin rallies. When the stock market goes down, Bitcoin goes down, and I compare the charts on that video specifically. I overlay the SPY over Bitcoin, and you can see this is the case very, very clearly. Now, this doesn't mean the 4-year cycle means nothing, but to me, there's no way to say that the 4-year cycle really has anything to do with the timing of the cycles when it really just tracks traditional finance, right? At the end of the day, you need loose monetary policy to create an environment where risk on assets can run. If you don't have that looser monetary policy, I'm not saying crypto can't run. It would kind of be non-logical for it to run, but it's really not until you see tight monetary policy and then the stock market's crashing and Bitcoin's ripping. Once that happens, then you could say, screw tracking traditional finance. It's the 4-year cycle all day long, baby. And but that hasn't happened yet, right? So until that happens, it's really hard to say that the 4-year cycle is the thing that moves the 4-year cycle is the only thing that moves the price, right? So for me, selling on dates, that's just not how I handle things. To me, that's just like not enough, right? If it was as easy as being like, well, we topped out in November this time, so, you know, whatever it is, right? Like, just come on over to the Bitcoin chart, right? So it's like you're looking at the chart and you're like, okay, let's see. We topped out here in November, so I'm just going to sell in November. Could that work? Maybe, right? Like, I don't know, maybe. I just don't think there's like enough thought behind that, right? It's just kind of like, all right, let's see here. Yeah, we topped out around like December, January, right? We started peaking in like November, right? So if you looked at it in this case, 2017, you top out technically in December, right? But it's like kind of that holiday season that you top out at, and then you're looking here and you're like, well, I'm just going to wait for same thing, right? And then you kind of top out almost close to the same time. But this, to me, is not necessarily, doesn't have to happen again, right? You know, I would be more inclined, and this is what we do in that video, is I pull up my cycle chart. Let me see. Where's my cycle chart? Where's my dang cycle chart? Where is it? I'm going to have to pull it up. Mrs. Candles, can you run in the back? Mrs. Candles, run in the back and grab the cycle chart. Thank you. Let me just pull this up, guys. But yeah, you know, I'd be more inclined to do a little bit more research into what's happened in the past, right? So I do use the 4-year cycle in my research and my analysis. But again, I don't just base everything solely based off that. But, you know, I would be more inclined to look at like how long it takes to go from the halving to the top, right? We had two tops here, right? And in my opinion, this was actually the all-time high, sitting at about coming in April, right? So to me, this was really the all-time high. All the sentiment peaks. You know, there's a lot of stuff that peaked out here that never made a new all-time high. This was really just a liquidity sweep to me. But, you know, I'm just more inclined to do like a little bit more research than, you know, just selling on a calendar day. But that's just me, right? It's not, again, it would have worked out great if you were looking at it in the previous cycle, but that doesn't guarantee it's going to play out in this cycle. And for me, it's all based off of technical targets. I'm not going to leak them right this second because go watch that 2025 video. It'll answer all your questions. I promise you that. But can you take a look at Celestia? Hey, shout out to Alchemist Scar. Alchemist Scar. But let's see. Let's jump into TIA right quick. And I'll actually pull up our actual TIA chart. Boom. All right, let's take a look here. Yeah, and TIA, ooh, baby. Let me check this chart real quick. I think these are the same. Yes. Okay, so on TIA. TIA is, actually, look at this one. TIA is just kind of still in its range here, like, to be honest, right? Like, you're just kind of still in your accumulation range. I could even extend this, right, because this is still balanced price. So we could kind of redraw this. Boom. Boom. And then your POC. Whoops. POC in the middle here. Get rid of this. So at this point, we are losing our 786. We've kind of lost our 786 here. But at the end of the day, like, we're just in this lower accumulation zone. Take a look at the daily. Yeah, I mean, I would just handle this like everything else, right? Like, if we deviate below here, you know, you do have a daily horizontal level of support right here. Daily horizontal. Come on. Boom. That one's already tapped, so that doesn't count. So you do have a daily horizontal down here. So if you were able, right, just looking at Market Cipher B here, if you were able to put like a lower low here in at least somewhere near this daily, get a nice little daily bullish divergence, that could be a big sign to get back into your range, back to the POC, back to the value area high, and then finally, hopefully, at some point, we could break out of this dang range and reapproach our larger value area, right? We've gotten the break out of this range. This was a while ago. We got the breakout, came up and tested the value area high. This is resistance until proven otherwise. But the thing I don't really love about this is that we have lost our 786 retracement pulled from the absolute low to the all-time high. Not all-time high, but the current high, right? I don't love that. I don't love that we lost that 786. So if we do deviate below here, I'd look for some kind of bounce off this daily, especially if you get that div here on the daily. But at that point, it's the same thing as a volume profile, right? You just deviate below, get above the value area low, go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the value area high, break out of the high, go to the next value area low. This is still your major doorway to higher prices. Once we get up here, this is where we could see the massive move up on Celestia. But other than that, we'll see what happens here. Everything. If Bitcoin goes to 80K and we see that head and shoulders play out, chances are TIA is going to get quite a spill to the downside. The altcoins are very likely to follow unless we just see alt season start out of nowhere. But we'll see what happens, guys. Everything has been rejecting from retracement levels right now. So watch that support down below. Check in here on Bitcoin real quick. Yeah, we're just still trying to, where's that 15-minute? Come on, that next 15-minute green dot, if this money flow comes up and crosses into the green, do we have the 4-hour green dot yet? We do. We are now printing. I thought this was going to play out a little quicker. We now have that green dot on the 4-hour. So right now, all eyes on this 15-minute money flow. Let's see if that VWAP can roll back up, print that green dot, drag our money flow back in the green, and let's see if we can continue up to our next targets, which again, they're going to be the POC of the range sitting here at 95.6. Flip that to support. You got your main POC at 97.321. Flip above that. At the end of the day, we're going to look to go up to that value area high where I will be looking for new short positions. So we'll see what happens here. Trade is probably in the same spot. It was literally to the dollar in the same exact spot that it was when we started the stream. But we'll see if we can get this to play out a little bit more. But guys, with all that being said, that's all the time we got for today's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out here till the end of the stream and sticking it out to get that extra altcoin TA. So smash that like button if you guys have not already. Smash it on the way out. It is the easiest and simplest and most free way to help support the channel and push our content out to more people in the crypto universe so we can grow the Candle Mafia into an even more strong army than we already are. Shout out to Ahmed, shout out to Wake589, shout out to Gene Lee, shout out to Jeremy, shout out to Jesse. Thank you for your service, Jesse. Shout out to TradeMade. Let's see. Frankie is so polite. Shout out to TradeMade. You should see me off camera. I'm just kidding. I really am polite. I am from New York, though. So my mouth is quite different off camera. But we try to keep it family friendly. Shout out to Peter. Shout out to Texas. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. Shout out to all the mods. Drop some love in the chat for the mods on your way out. That's all the time we got. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
What's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high? Through it all, I stay the same. I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up from my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right. I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life. I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose, and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
Ahmed said, I think Dot is dead. Frankie, can you please explain? Shout out to Ahmed. I mean, listen, not financial advice. I personally don't think Dot is dead. I am expecting Dot to perform eventually. At least, at least as of right now, there really is no reason to think that Dot is dead from a chart perspective. Whether your opinion is the project is dead or something like that, obviously do your own research. Anything can happen in crypto, but I will just say from a technical perspective here, right, we are holding a golden pocket, right? So just to put into perspective here, we've gotten a massive 210% rip to the upside, followed by a 40% correction or 50% correction. When you have a 200% rip to the upside, it cannot go up in the straight line forever. So when we pull our full Fibonacci golden pocket 786, we are right now at our first key level of support with the golden pocket 786, or golden pocket POC confluence, right? Could this be the retracement before getting the bigger move out? Potentially. However, technically, we could even come down to the 786, which I can't. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was going to say, it's covered up by that white line that says 786. I was like, where's the blue line? But if we lose that golden pocket, technically, I mean, if we came down here to that 786, that still could be an area to put in a higher low and continue back to the upside. So, nothing on a chart perspective that would make me say that Dot is dead. Again, do your own research. Not all projects go back to all-time highs. Not all projects come back in the next bull market. I will say it's a little bit of a dinosaur coin, so I'm not expecting like a 20 or 40x out of this thing or anything. But even if Polkadot did wind up getting a move back to its value area high, it's a 430% rip. And then, if it did make a slight all-time high into that first Fibonacci extension level, it's like a 1,000% gain, right? Now, again, even just up to the value area high, 433%, I do think it will perform well. But again, do your own research. But from a chart perspective, there's no reason to say this is dead. If this thing had completely had like a hack or something and it was like, just nuked to the floor like that, maybe we can look at the option of it being dead. But for me personally, there's nothing here that looks unhealthy to me. I haven't yet, but I've accumulated Dot inside this accumulation zone. I'd be open to maybe picking up a little bit more down here, even if it came down to the low. But again, it depends on what price looks like. If we get some Black Swan event and things are absolutely nuking, I'm not just going to buy there for no reason. But from a chart perspective, it's not looking bad. We're just at a golden pocket retracement. And again, that 786 is sitting at 540. If we went down there, still technically from a chart perspective, wouldn't be the worst case scenario. So with all that being said, guys, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. Go touch some grass. Go eat some food. Go drink some water. Shout out to Dark Crash. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Shout out to Minaj. Shout out to Lasers. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Shout out to all the mods. Shout out to Dave Digital, Jay Violet, Gene Lee, Minaj, TRD Farmer, and last but not least, Crypto Billy again. And last but not least, Maybe a Band-Aid. Shout out to Maybe a Band-Aid, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. On demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run